So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name is Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube, and I use spirits, my intuition, the tarot to communicate energies to you guys, fabulous viewers. If you guys are new here, welcome to my channel. I hope that this reading resonates for you. If you don't resonate with the pile you've clicked on, check out another pile. Okay, sometimes we're pulled to energy that's around us, so it certainly could be a person, place, thing going on in your energy field, and it could be coming from another aspect. Okay, that's why you've clicked on that pile, but if we're tunnel focused on our own energy, we might miss the message altogether. So I do ask you keep an open mind, but not so open that your brains fall out. Okay, of course, use discernment. If it doesn't resonate, it's not your pile. Check out another pile, check out another reading. For those of you guys who are returning here, you know the spiel. I love you guys so much. I'm so blessed to be here. And thank you so much for reaching out to me. I am doing well, thank you. Although just like everyone else, you know, I have peaks and valleys and challenges, you know. And so if I'm going through heavy energy, I do not generally like to read if the energy feels like it might impact my reading. Okay, so I have been very blessed in the past to do a lot of your readings, and I do intend to do more readings here. Okay, but of course my energy has to reflect that in which the state I need to be in. So I was called to do a reading today. I feel very blessed and very grateful to be here doing your reading. These are the decks I'll be using for today's reading. And I'll put a link here for those of you guys who are interested in energetically charging these cards for future readings, or if you're just a tarot reader or collector and you want to take a look at the cards in these decks. And we'll be looking at guidance from your angel team, which just sort of came to me that I missed the angel deck here. So I don't know why I got two tarot here, but that's how it's coming through. So we're going to be pulling guidance from your angel team. Okay, you're sort of on a path, or whatever spiritual path you're on, and there's circumstances, situations in your world going on. And so your spirit team, your guides, your angels, whoever is assisting you at this time is pulling through with advice, guidance, maybe confirmation or affirmation regarding something you might already know. Okay, or maybe providing information around something you're needing to address or take a look at. Okay, but don't take any messages that don't feel like they resonate with your situation or your circumstance, because that could definitely be for someone else. Okay, and then I would suggest you go take a listen to another pile, because I don't generally just sort of throw a whole bunch in a pile and say pick and choose. Okay, that's not how I read. It's generally the overall energy in that pile that should match what you're going through or what's around you energetically. Okay, now if I've tapped into a person, place, or thing around you, it's going to give you some insight as to what is sort of going on outside of your own perception. And so we might obviously put a lot of weight on our own perceptions, of course, because that's our reality, but that doesn't mean that there's other perceptions, other realities, and objective truths that are happening around us that we can't see because we're in our own way. Okay, and so a lot of readings come through this way because it gives us another aspect of what's going on, so we can make more conscious choices if we rise above our own perceptions, our own beliefs, our own thought structure forms. Okay, this is how this channel sort of pulls through here, and to utilize it in the way that it is intended to be. Okay, if you want quick and easy, there's a lot of readers on the internet that does that as well. Okay, my intention here is always to provide what it is that I'm seeing with honest, objective sort of truths, as clear as I can communicate it. Okay, that's my intention, is to provide what I see, not to make you feel better, although I do hope that that's a result, and it's not to gain any sort of followers or anything like this. Okay, it's just reading the cards so that you can make the most conscious choices in your world and heal from whatever it is that might be going on that needs more sort of investigation or clearance in your world. Okay, so enough of the spiel. This will be a pick a card reading. And which decks are we going to use? We'll use the Sacred Earth Oracle for the options, and then we will dive into the 3 piles for you guys, beautiful angels. I'll put the timestamps down below, and I will see you guys at your picks. Hello, gorgeous angels. We have 3 piles to choose from, and we're going to pull 3 cards here for those of you guys needing, well, I guess pile 2, you have your card. Guidance in regards to your current situation, circumstance. Okay, I'll reveal these cards shortly, but if at any point you're pulled to 1, 2, or 3, the timestamp is down below. So let's ask Spirit and your angel team guides and whoever is sort of leading at this time your journey, if it's your higher self, if it's ancestor, spirit team, and what it is you're needing to know about your current situation, circumstance, guidance for pile 1 and all the way through to pile number 3, Spirit. Clear and concise message here for the collective tapped into this reading at this time. Thank you so much. We're so blessed to be here. Pile 1 and pile 2, you got your card. Pile 3, there's your card. Let's take a look. I won't be reading reversals for these oracle cards. Okay, so like I said, if you are already pulled to any one of these, you can go ahead and select from the timestamp below. So option 1, you guys got fragments with this card right here. So I'm all jittery. Option number 2, you guys have balance. Option number 3, you guys got preservation. All right, so let the video run for a bit. Take as long as you need. If you feel stuck and you're not really sure and you're called to multiple piles, it could be that there's multiple messages, okay? But just close your eyes, and when you're ready, open your eyes. Whichever one sort of pulls at you first is going to most likely be your pile, okay? But if you're in there and it doesn't resonate, there's no rule that says you have to sit there and listen and take the messages. You can go check out another pile, okay? All piles could resonate for sure in different aspects in regards to your current circumstance. We're not one-dimensional beings, okay? So like I say, keep an open mind. Could be a person, place, thing pulling through energetically around you. Doesn't have to belong to you, okay? But do not force the message to fit. I'll put the timestamps down below, and I will see you guys at your pick. Pile number 1, you guys picked the card of fragments here. All right, so there's a lot of energy already pulling through with this card, but I don't want to channel so much yet until all the cards are sort of laid out here. Now, I usually say that if you're working through your intuition, to sit through this card layout and ask Spirit what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your pile or not. Best way to work through your intuition is to sit through the card layout. But if you're wanting to save time, or if you're already in tune with your intuition, you can go straight away to your channeled message, okay? But in order for us to connect intuitively, I have to sort of go through this card layout and sit with the energy. So let's let fragments sort of sit here. Although it's pretty self-explanatory, fragments means pieces that are not yet put together in the whole. Okay, but when we talk about energy, I said I wasn't going to channel, but I do feel this is relevant already coming through. It's like when we talk about energy, energy cannot be destroyed. It gets transmuted and transformed. And so when we have certain experiences where energy fragments off, it goes into a place that is sort of, we can call it the shadow. Okay, we still carry that energy. It's just gone in a different sort of way the energy transmutes to something different. Okay, now in the shadow, fragmented energy, it wants to reunite back into the whole, or it wants to be seen, and we can use alchemy, okay, which is the transformation of energy. And this is why artists can use anger or pain to create beautiful things in this world, because they're utilizing the energy and they're healing through this process and transmuting the energy of pain. Okay, or it doesn't even have to be pain, it could be joy, it could be whatever, but normally the fragmented piece is either in the shadow. Okay, and so I feel there's a lot of pain coming through here, and this card does talk about childhood. Okay, it could even be breakups, it could be that we're needing to sort of understand that everything that's sort of happened is actually for the greatest good, even if it has been painful, and it has created the version of us. And we're not fragmented, we're not incomplete, okay? But we might need to sort of take the time to uncover what is still not seen. And so there is also an energy of 7 swords that pulls through here, okay? And it could be that we have held some belief that was untrue, okay? There could be some sabotage. There could be lies that we feel others have sort of done, or we're not sure if we could trust them or the truth. So there's a lot of this sort of thing that happens here, okay? But it's really one of trusting in the process of what has happened in order for us to be able to sort of be in this present moment with what is, and be able to create the next sort of thing here, okay? So it's a lot of energy that pulls through that card. Let's take a look. What your angel team's wanting to communicate to you in regards to your current situation, circumstance. We have 12. It says your true tribe can't show up until you do. How can you show more of the real you? So this definitely talks about this thing, okay? Because like I said, 7 swords is where we're maybe feeling like we have to hide parts of ourselves that maybe we're ashamed of, or like we abandon certain parts of ourselves, and where we don't stand in our truth because maybe we feel we'll be judged or that we're deficient. There was a reading I saw yesterday, Gareth, and he does beautiful readings. And I do feel this came through the Capricorn reading. You know, he said a beautiful story about like, hopefully I don't butcher this thing, but it was beautiful. And this is exactly what's pulling through here. It's like the 2 water buckets, you know, with that stick, and we carry it. Okay, the 2 water buckets, and one bucket is complete. It's perfect, it's pristine, and we fill it with water and we seal it and it holds the water. And the other bucket has a crack in it. It's imperfect. You know, something's happened to it. It feels imperfect. It doesn't feel perfect. It compares itself to the other perfect bucket that can carry the water. And so as the water carrier brings the water and fills the buckets and goes to wherever they're going, you know, the kitchen, the farm, the whatever, one bucket's full, the other bucket has half the water. And the bucket's looking like, whoa, I failed. It's judging itself. It's comparing itself to the perfect bucket. But the perfect bucket says, hey, look behind you. And that bucket with the crack has been feeding the greenery behind it, giving the flowers and the grass and everything the water of life. And so the one side of the trail is just green and beautiful and full of life. And the other side is just dead. You know, it's like deserted and there's no life because the water wasn't sort of coming out. And so it's like the path has been laid. And so there's something very beautiful here. No matter how painful it has been, it's created some version, okay, of this present moment. And I feel like with this, your tribe can't show up until you do. There seems to be, it's really something going on internal, you know, and it is taking me back to childhood or past experience that has created an understanding that you might hold right now. And you might hold it in this present moment. Others are disappointing, or I can't do this, or it won't be that in this present moment. We're thinking we're in the present moment, but really we're bringing in the past beliefs. And it's saying, understand yourself fully and make peace with everything that's sort of been your story. you know, in order to be whole, in order to feel complete, so that we can show up in this present moment, rather than maybe outwardly sort of projecting where there's failures or disconnects with others, or with your situation, or with yourself engaging in situation. Okay, that's coming through very strong here. So we have danger, and we have this hockey goalie mask. So it's giving me Jason vibes. 1980s, could it be significant here? I think Jason's from the 80s. Is it 70s? 80s? The checkerboard. I'm getting chariot energy from the black and the white here. Okay, which always talks to me about shadow integration, but checkerboards, like, is someone strategizing here? Because Seven Swords is definitely about strategy, trying to win, maybe win at all costs. They feel played in some way here, you know? But definitely there's this mask, a mask of trying to protect. But masks talk about what? Inauthenticity, you know? We're hiding something that's true, maybe because we feel we're in danger, or we need to protect ourselves from whatever we have experienced in the past. I see two people here. They're looking up at the sky. I think pile number 2 had 2 people in the balance card. I haven't done that reading, but there could be a tie here to pile 2, because it's giving me pile 2 vibes. Something needs to be expressed here, and this eye is talking about the intuitive eye, to see something intuitively through an inner knowing. Okay, and then it's on the hand, because hands talk about taking action, doing something that we might know intuitively. It needs to be sort of acted through. Something about the truth is really pulling through, that we need to act upon, you know? But if we act upon the pain, or we act upon the untrue, the belief of the pains, and the defensiveness, and the half stories, or the fragmentations, then we're creating the suffering, because we're not acting in truth. So there's something about the truth you're needing to see and understand about yourself or your situation that's actually objectively real. And we're in an understanding of an untruth here, I feel, out of a need to protect oneself, which is creating the pain and the suffering that you're experiencing, okay? Moon's talking about fears and subconscious. It's things aren't what they appear. To talk about illusion and deception as well, which 7 Swords, okay? There's a lot of 7 Swords sort of energy here. Depression, self-destruction. So again, the self is creating this, regardless if it's trying to blame other, or see fault in a situation, fault in other, or fault in self. And there is no fault. There's just this self that needs self-realization, okay? So desperation, jealousy, pessimism, resignation, and suicidal urges. Type 1, the perfectionist, instinctive center between control and letting go. Suicidal urges, I do have links below, okay? I'm hoping no one here is feeling this way, but in the extreme here with this chariot energy, there could be extremes of depression. Okay, there's lots of support here for you. You can always message me as well, okay, if you're not wanting to reach out to any one of those sort of places. So you have 73, 4, and 1. We have Aries, which talks about this hand energy. Aries is very much being in line with feeling empowered to do. Okay, 1's all about new opportunity, new beginnings, potential. It's magician energy as well, which is this need to communicate something. Okay, but magician's like as above, so below. It's the manifestation of the unseen into the 3D reality. So you're wanting to create something. And I think this is part of this reading, is like your current situation is like, I want, and then you have an understanding of what you want to build or create, but there's a disconnect to making it sort of the thing. And this is really highlighting where the disconnect is. It's an internal disconnect of what you think is a truth, or what you're seeing, how you're seeing something. It's not necessarily true. It's from the defensive self, okay? What you're seeing isn't true. We'll try to get you more information about that, because it's quite a heavy statement to say what you see isn't true, you know? But it is really coming through this way. And it's creating this energy of depression, or disconnect, or disappointment. or others aren't showing up, or it's abandoning me or making me feel some sort of way we don't like. It's perpetuating this feeling. Yeah, joy. So we want the joy. Look at there's ring around the rosy. Okay, it's kind of giving me this energy as well. Very similar to them holding hands. It's giving me a 3 cup sort of energy. A 3 cup is all about our network of people coming together to celebrate and experience joy. Okay, it's also a card of reconciliations, reunions. So 7 is Chariot, which I was already sort of tapping into there. 7's about faith, wisdom, reflection, understanding. And Chariot, like I said, Chariot's all about victory and finding balance. So that's probably why we tapped into 2, because 2 was balance there, but I haven't read it yet. Okay, but it's like, how do I keep the Chariot upright and integrate any parts that's fragmented in order to overcome challenge so I could get through to the other side successfully? But 7's also Tower. And Tower is the deconstruction of what's false, what's shaky, what can't stand has to sort of fall away so the truth can stand. Okay, so 7's all about spirituality, intellect, personal growth. Again, this personal internal world. Okay, lots of projects, enthusiasm, pleasure, freedom, optimism, and good mood. Type 7 enthusiast, thinking center between pleasure and pain. So we have green, which is the heart chakra. Heart chakra talks about unconditional love, being able to give and receive love. And the only way this gets blocked is if there's any sort of shadow, distortion in the lower chakras that get in the way of this heart being open, regarding ourselves, because there's distortion in the lower chakra. So there's something about feeling not good enough too with this silver. Okay, because when I see the gold, it's the high self, it's our highest potential. When I see the silver, it's like the understanding we have that could be skewed. It's like that crack bucket I talked about, but all we're seeing is I'm imperfect, or we're comparing ourselves to maybe a version of who we think we need to be. And then we perpetuate this depression, or we have an understanding of what we think something needs to be, which is also distorted because we're seeing lack in what is. It's not good enough, I'm not good enough, they're not good enough, or it's sort of missing something, but nothing is missing. That's an untruth. There is nothing missing. Okay, so there seems to be a high alert and a threat over here, round and round cycles. 25, which is another 7. So 77 is a master number, and that is trust the fall and an adventure that arises from deep wisdom. Okay, that's this I. Trust of life, trust of self. So self is coming through again. There's self-work that needs to be done here, any way you slice and dice it. If you're experiencing game players, if you're experiencing betrayal, if you're experiencing disappointment, if you're experiencing abandonment, if you're experiencing lack, if you're experiencing anything in your current present moment, there's some world going on internally that needs to come together. Okay, otherwise we just keep repeating the same experiences over and over, and we might fear that we'll experience the same thing again. So we're doing something, but whatever we're doing, we're not experiencing the joy we want to experience here. Okay, and this isn't blaming you, saying that you're the one creating the issue in regards to what other people are doing or saying or not doing or saying. But this is saying, in order for you to be empowered for things to change, the only control you really have is your own energy in the moment. And so there's something about your energy that needs to be understood in order for you to feel empowered in your present situation, so you can see things differently, make different choices, do things differently. Okay, but it takes time to undo beliefs that are untrue, and it takes time to build beliefs that, or shift how we think. I might feel very uncomfortable, but any sort of belief, whether it's, for the good or for the bad, any belief here can create suffering. We get attached to that story. So this is not really necessarily creating another belief so much as it is understanding is that our beliefs have a lot of power, and which way do we sort of want to sway in that moment. Okay, so South Adventure. So remember 77, an adventure that arises from deep wisdom. There's something about an adventure. And so the self is all about the past. Again, remember I talked about the trail. Something's happened, self could talk about like her past karmas and what we were sort of needing to learn through an experience about reflection and people of the past, things of the past, experiences of the past. I'm getting 6-cup energy here. Okay, we have 2 more Pisces energy and Cancer with the 7s. And like I said, Aries, and then Magician, which was Virgo, Gemini energy coming through. Yeah, strong Pisces energy though. Okay, so we have observation, 34. That's a 7 again, right? Yes, another 7. Observation. Yeah, so observation is neutral. We don't come with a preconceived understanding. There's something about a preconceived understanding, how things are and how you are and how something should be or is, that's untrue, I feel here. And it's asking you to deconstruct this belief and be this sort of observer so you could create your reality. Okay, spider's creating this web. I'm feeling this protective energy because the web is sort of our environment. We need to feel safe and protected in our environment. And we can create, like if the spider didn't know how to sort of create a web, it'd be sort of out there, exposed, and it could get whatever, it could die because it doesn't have its sort of safety. Its environment isn't safe, and it creates this so it can catch its prey in some way. Here we see the checkerboard. So there does seem to be an emphasis on you have the capability to create something that will allow you to feel safe in your energy and your environment here. It's like it's a very natural thing that you can, like the spider can create this web. It doesn't need to think about how to do it or read in a book about it. It just knows, okay, how to create this web. So there's something about you being able to create something innately, naturally, but if it's been fragmented off, we might have forgotten our own power of what we can do and what we can create here. So it's limited. It feels sort of disjointed in some way and maybe not natural for us because we've seen of something else. But also flipping it, because I don't know who I'm sort of reading for here. Like I said, this gameplay could be feeling trapped in someone else's sort of a web, It's like someone strategized or did something here to me. And I'm helpless or hopeless or the victim of something here. Maybe in the past, and it's like, I don't want to repeat this, but it's like, I'm really getting, you are the spider. All right, more Cancer energy, more 7s. You guys, go buy a lottery ticket. Holy frickin' frack. We have 7 here. Okay, 7 here, a 7 here, although it's the same 7, 7 here, 7 here, 7 here. 7 could be very significant, but that is also the month of July. So we're entering July for sure. But we have challenge here. And in this deck, the yellow represents the root chakra, which I know is not naturally when we talk about the energy centers, the roots, the red, but in this deck, it's the yellow. Okay, so yeah, challenge. I mean, it started with the 7-sword energy, And when you're challenged, it could feel like it's negative, but in order for there to be growth, there has to be the challenge. Otherwise, there's complacency and stagnation. It's kind of like working your muscle, to sort of keep breaking the muscle in tiny little bits in order for it to grow and become bigger. You say, well, I don't want to grow. I don't want to expand. It's like, well, this is why we're here in this 3D reality. Spiritual growth, personal growth, moving beyond challenge. I feel this Chariot energy again, because it's like, how do I overcome challenge in a balanced, healthy way so I can feel empowered, to overcome? It's like, what's within my power? We need to know and not have it fragmented. Something's disjointed here, okay? So it needs to sort of come together. so we can overcome what you're experiencing here, whatever the challenge is. Because for a lot of you guys, it's different. I do feel is involving other people, or something not panning out the way you're wanting it to. And it's like, it's not what it seems. You're not observing. You're too busy chattering about the narrative, about what you think is the negative thing here. And it's untrue. Not true, okay? Patterns, that's this. Okay, 26 is number 8. So we have succession. We go from 7 to 8. 8 is about movement. 8 is about the strength, which is the courage to face the fears, the challenge. We face it. Okay, with 8. 8 is about attainment and change. 8s are about authority and leadership. That's this Aries energy, although 8 is Leo. I'm feeling, again, Leo is solar plexus, and I know I said this root, but the yellow's coming through as the solar plexus to have the courage to face some pattern. And I think this pattern is a way of thinking, which leads to a way of being, a way of understanding that becomes the pattern of who we think we are. And then it becomes the reality of what we experience, and we might feel very trapped, limited, defensive, let down, disappointed in others. Okay, this mask is very similar to this mask, although this one has holes. This one's the eyes are closed. And like I said, mask, it gives me the truth isn't yet being worn. And her eyes are closed, which gives me this inner knowing that we feel and we could connect to internally. Again, the internal world is coming through here. Okay, and we see the trees. Trees do talk about health, stability, security, the vitality of something, and the 3D that's secure and stable and trustworthy. Okay. 26. Leo energy, and I did feel some Pisces and some Aries again from that one. Okay, High Priestess. But I do feel it's in the reverse, and that's sort of how it was coming. Okay, High Priestess, it says intuition, wisdom, and patience. So the High Priestess is sort of the doorway or the veil from the known to the unknown. The unknown is in the dark. It's in the fragmentation. It's not revealed itself in a way here for us to transmute or do anything with the energy because we haven't seen it or understood it. But it's always sort of available. And in traditional tarot, the High Priestess holds a sealed scroll, and only she knows the secrets in the scroll. The scroll is open. I feel there's something being revealed to you that is always there for you to see, and you're not connecting to it. Okay? Now, this isn't for blame. This is to say, if you're experiencing a challenge, there's something you're being called to adjust and do and connect to internally because it's being revealed to you to see first. And it is in regards to your empowerment. It is in regards to, I do feel something's happened in the past and maybe spinning it in a way for you to see it differently, to observe it differently, so that the narrative of how and what that's done and all of this gets shifted and changed. Okay? Because I feel you're not seeing something here with this High Priestess in reverse. More Pisces energy that pulls through. That's all of this energy that we were connecting to again, okay? So we have the 5th chakra with Archangel Gabriel. So this is the throat. Okay, so the throat was coming through when I was connecting over because she was wearing blue, and I said some truth needs to be spoken. And anytime I see a mask, it's like we're speaking from the pain body, the defensive position, or the experience of the past, the story I believe to be true, although I don't see the truth, and that's what I'm speaking to or acting upon. But there's a greater truth here that's going on that I don't see or connect to, that I need to speak about. Okay? So you're having to say something or speak about something, but you can't speak about it unless you see it or connect to it, right? 39 or 12. So 12 came through over here. So we have 12, 12. Okay, it could be an angel number 1212, but that's Pisces energy again, Libra energy, and Taurus energy. I do feel the Libra pulls through as partnership, okay? And Libra, the shadow, could be quite sort of not deep enough, it's sort of superficial. Something going on here is on the surface here with the mask and the 7 swords. There's a deeper truth. Okay. Healer of the ages 51 and 6. And look at the heart glowing here. Okay, we talked about the green heart chakra, so you're definitely healing something. Okay, healer of the ages. I feel it's the need to bring the fragments sort of together here. Or to heal whatever this thing is. Okay, now we don't need to heal because we are already healed, but we don't see something, so it's fragmented in the shadow. But bringing it together in order to heal the situation and engage in a situation here from a more healed place. Okay, the divine director, intervention and purpose. Divine intervention is occurring. Know that you are being guided. Happiness is your purpose. Okie dokie. So let's pull the tarot in order for me to get some more and we'll channel. So clear and concise message for the greatest and the highest good of pile number 1's here. Pile 1, 4 cups, is experiencing something here and they're wanting guidance from their angel team, advice, for they're being called to do, see, or understand at this time. Clear and concise message from the greatest and highest good of pile number 1. Thank you so much, pile 1, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here. So remember what I said about this internal thing is, so if we're energetically not seeing the blessings, we're experiencing an energy that's very real to us. 4 cups is, so we're more focused on the disappointments that we miss or what's going on around us. And I think there was a blessing here that the universe was handing to you with the Ace of Cups. Okay, but Ace of Cups does talk about the self, connecting to self, feeling whole with self here. Okay, but I feel it's available to you. But here we have something again. I don't know. It feels very superficial in the friend group or something. Could be a relationship, other people. Something that's made us feel disappointed or rejected here. And we're sort of dwelling there, And yes, the experience happened, but there's a greater truth online here. When we asked to see, okay, Hangman, Pisces energy, it's in the reverse. We're really fixated on how we see something, so much so that we're missing the forest for the trees. That's creating the disappointment here. Okay, and then the Hangman in the sort of upright card, but where he's hanging in the reverse, it's like suspended enough to get still enough to rise above, to see things differently. But he can't see things differently unless he gets quiet enough, unless he rises above and connects to the divine here, because this is the Hangman, surrenders to the divine to understand things, even if it's something completely wild, Hangman's sort of the rebel in the tarot, because it's like his point of view is very out there. Might be very different than what you're used to thinking and seeing. That it might seem very not real, Meanwhile, it's more real than the story in which we're creating here. But this has been a reality. The challenge or the need to protect oneself or the disappointment or the comparison or the something here where I feel you've been disappointed. Okay, a Wheel of Fortune in reverse. We feel like there's nothing we can do or we feel trapped by something. So divine timing talks about this Wheel of Fortune, okay? And we could really feel sort of on the outs, or like everything's sort of going towards the bad here, but this might not necessarily be true. And also it does speak of cycles, patterns, the repeats. Okay, we have 4 Pentacle in the reverse, so in need to be able to understand we're in a more solid position than we realize, because when we're 4 Pentacle, we're either too held back, clinging to what we know, and seeing something from sort of a loss point, vantage point, I will be at a loss, I am at a loss. So we cling to what we know. We need security or safety in a way here that we don't realize we have. So we get blocked from flow. there's a need to sort of let go and let move energy. Chariot, which we were feeling all over your reading. Very strong here, okay? So that's the 7. Again, like I said, 7 is about faith, wisdom. So I feel the wisdom's intuitive understandings, not necessarily of the mind, as much as it is the spiritual wisdoms, okay, that is being shown to you. So there's this energy here of understanding, wisdom, spirituality, and intellect that comes through this personal growth, okay, that we don't sort of see yet. Okay, High Priestess. And I don't read bottom of the deck reverse here, but we do channel the energy as it pulls through. And we know that there's a block in the intuition that's hidden from you. There's something hidden. It's being shown to you. It's asking you to connect to. 3 Swords is the pain body here, okay? In the reverse, we could be really sort of feeling very, very challenged, not moving on from a pain experience, because we don't see how, or we don't understand how. No one would want to stay in a pain body. When you want to heal from it, 3 Swords in the reverse can talk about overcoming pain, like we've healed it. And so this is what this reading is talking about, how to heal this thing. Okay, so are we in view? I'm going to just shuffle these out up a little so we can see. Okay, you guys can definitely skip ahead. I am going to sit with this energy, although, wow, lots of channeling sort of came through as I was laying these cards out. And you could skip ahead and drink my coffee. All right. Your true tribe can't show up until you do. How can you show more of the real you? Okay, pile number 1. Remember what I said? This could be your energy, people, places, things around you. And don't take the energy if it's not your energy, okay? But I am going to read it like your energy, but apply it accordingly, okay? I feel like a lot of messages came through in the card layout already, and so some of this might be repeated, okay? But I'm going to sort of give a high view, and if you want to go back there and get more, then go ahead. But the signs first. There's heavy Pisces energy here, okay? And there is some Aries and some Cancer, and sorry, I'm just looking at your pile. Yeah, mostly. Okay. That's the predominant energy here. So I feel you are experiencing heavy disappointment in your current situation, okay? I don't think most people would be at tarot if they're sort of tickety-boo and everything's going good. So that's not really telling you much of anything. But I feel there is a truth that you're not seeing. So this is all about your guides and who is sort of helping you throughout a situation here, spiritually leading, in order for you to see your way through something. What you're experiencing right now feels very destined to be experienced for you to overcome. And I feel it's a world within you that's still not seen and understood and worked through, regardless of what other people are saying, not doing. They could be doing all sorts of things, doesn't make it right, okay? There feels to be a disappointment in what you're experiencing, and I do feel you feel let down or rejected or disappointed, heartbroken, whatever you are experiencing, okay, that I do feel is not for the positive joy. It's like your spirit's team is saying, you deserve to be happy and joyful and all this stuff. But we might start to believe, why can I not, And if I am, then why is it sort of not happening then? And your spirit team wants you to know, I'm not withholding happiness from you. Nothing's being withheld from you. You aren't at the mercy of outside experiences that are happening in a way here that are removing your ability to be happy. And I believe that there is a belief you have right now in place that is creating this perpetual experience. There seems to be something about cycles, okay, patterns, but I think it's a pattern of a way of being, believing, or thinking. And like I said in the card layout, I don't know if you're comparing yourself to who you have to be or what you have to do or be. Okay, but for some of you guys, if it's not that sort of a struggle within, it's a struggle out there. And I'm too blind to see what's going on inside of me. But either way, the key here, the guidance is inside, whether you are inside or not inside right now. Okay, now that's two sort of angles, because if you are already sort of battling yourself, there's one understanding you have of yourself, which is untrue. Whatever that narrative goes, I got hurt, disappointed, I have to protect myself, I have to do or be a certain way in order for X. And that's what we believe. And we're sort of hung up on that. And we sort of keep creating disappointment based on that narrative story that's untrue. Now, if we're not having that dialogue within, because we're totally more focused on what's out there, people disappointing, it's not aligned, and that sort of a thing. Okay, and it could be a combination of the two. And then it's saying, what's going on inside of you? There's a strong need to observe from a neutral perspective, which is very hard to do. Because when we are charged energetically, emotionally with a belief, it feels very real. And it charges what we do and say and how we believe. And we could keep that belief going on and on and on and on. So we're the only ones that can interject that intensity of that belief and say, hey, wait a minute, let me observe here what the truth is, even if it feels very intense and real. So the inner self, okay, this isn't a mind thing. We're not going to think our way out of a situation. This is an inner wisdom that can only come through connecting to the divine. And right now there's a block here, because I do feel in order for us to experience this sort of an energy, we're like sort of more tied to the 3D unfoldings of what we've experienced and seen. So much so that there's a block here to the truth of something greater and higher that's being shown to us. So your angel team's saying, there's something greater and higher I want to show you. This is going to shift how you see this thing. And you could think, well, there's no way that I could see this differently that's going to make me feel any better way. Okay, but your spirit team's saying, trust. There's something here about a superficial sort of layer. Okay, and it does tie, I do feel, into a relationship or how we can give and receive love. Okay, and this doesn't have to be in an intimate sort of union with a one-on-one, but it could be friend groups. Okay, just connection as a whole to other. So it could be intimate relationship for sure. But it's like the flow of love that's giving and receiving, that's is supposed to be able to flow in a flow state. Okay, because I'm also getting from the round and round, aside from patterns and repeats, and a need to sort of protect oneself based on past experience, because I'm getting past all over this thing. Okay, what we've experienced. I also getting the flow state. Flow is like being able to allow something to sort of flow. And the only way something can flow, it has to be, I'm seeing a circuit now. Okay, it can't be fragmented. And if you skip the beginning, fragment is all of these sort of pieces of energy that might go into the shadow as a way to protect ourselves. And it's like when something happens we do not like as a child, or at a point where we feel helpless or hopeless, we fragment that energy. That's a way to protect ourselves. I cannot do or say anything here. And the only way to protect me is to fragment that energy. But energy, as we know, cannot be destroyed. It sits there. And it could be this inner child sitting somewhere within us, this fragmented piece of energy that wants to reunite and reconnect into the whole. And it's going to do whatever it needs to do in order to be seen. But we can't connect to it, hear it, welcome it, and integrate it. That's this chariot energy, which I was getting all over your reading with all the sevens, okay, even the blacks and the whites here, because there's a need to integrate the fragmented energy that's been disappointed. that experience, maybe whatever it experienced, maybe multiple times, it's been abandoned, it's been deceived, it's been betrayed, it's been disappointed, it's been rejected, it's been disappointed in other, it's been disappointed in itself. So if you've disappointed sort of yourself, maybe you're not trusting your own self. There's something here about needing to see the truth is really what's going on, because the truth here is that what you're wanting and what you're really sort of desiring here, it desires you and it exists already. Joy exists already. Happiness exists already. If flow state exists already. Love exists already. Nothing's taken from you. Nothing's blocked from you. There is no block here, okay? But there is a need for us to be able to get still enough to see the truth, and then we have to get empowered to create something, okay? And the creation here could be an energetic creation, but the creation is based on truths now. That's what we're keeping alive, because when we base the energy on truths, we create the environment around us, vibration that then creates a different sort of resonance. It creates a different sort of environment. It's a different sort of energy story, not the same pattern we're used to, not the disappointment we're used to, not the block we're used to, not the judgment or whatever. Because this is calling you to step into your sort of truth of power. But this isn't saying you believe something to be true, step into that truth, because I feel maybe that's what you've been doing. And so the more you lean into that, thinking, I am doing something, I am stepping in the truth, I am speaking my truth. It's like, are we sure we're not speaking from the pain body? We're on high alert. Danger, danger. And when we experience threat, when we experience disappointment in the past, that becomes our reality. And now everything's on high alert, and this is how I engage. And now my whole environment sort of changes. It's kind of like the cause and effect, what I say and do from the pain body, from my reality of experience. Okay, even though it's just the perceived understanding I carry. And now I run with it like it's true, and I'm engaged in the world with this perceived reality, creating all sorts of disconnect or disharmony. And this situation is calling for the true, authentic you to come forward, not the pain body of you. So I think your situation is healing something with your inner child. It's making you connect to a truth that you haven't been able to connect to because of your experience. And like I said, for some of you guys, you haven't even sort of turned the mirror inwards to know that there's something here about you. It's not about what's going on out there, whether people are being nice or showing up or being there for you or supporting you or being honest with you. Okay, this doesn't mean they're not lying. This doesn't mean any of that stuff, because that's not what I'm reading here. Okay, of course, if someone's toxic, lying, and all of that stuff, but this is what it's asking you to really see, because it's easy to write off that person's a narcissist, that person's a liar, that person is toxic, that person, and I'm not saying you are doing that, but if we believe that, it's time to start sort of observe, because there's a greater truth that's going on, and it starts with the internal world. And we have to undo by the observation, because there's no action you're taking, but by undoing, I mean observe, see through the illusion. What is the pain body talking? What is the defensive me? What is the part of me that experienced a disappointment in the past that is now carrying some understanding? Because that's what I'm acting on. And it's saying, no, I need you to act on a deeper wisdom of truth here that's not from the pain body. If you want to connect to joy, if you want to connect to harmonious relationship, okay, because I feel what you want to connect to wants to connect with you. And like I said, it is really around connection, people, friends, friend groups, intimate partnerships, that sort of a thing. Okay, but we need to let the false sort of fall down. And I feel like the only way it's sort of the illusion upkeeps itself and repeats itself on and on and on is when we cannot let go of that story or that understanding. And so we perpetuate this experience, okay, from a lack mindset and a belief that we're not in a position that can sway anything differently. And so we're very fixed in how we see it and what we do and what we say. And it keeps perpetuating this disappointment. And I don't know if it's disappointment in people, disappointment in relationship, disappointment in the same relationship, And then we believe all people can't be trusted, or I just cannot engage with people. People don't understand me, or people are all narcissists, or whatever the narrative goes, you know. I'm too broken. I'm too hurt, whatever that story is. And it's like, that's not even true. And you wouldn't be here, okay, if you've already sort of completely thrown in the towel, because there's an intuitive, deeper understanding that there's a truth, even if you believe that narrative, because I do believe that's the issue, is you do believe it. Okay, but a part of you, a small part of you, or else, like I said, you wouldn't be here. And it's your internal truth that knows, that connects to the divine. It's always there, that spark. But use that. Okay, this little mustard seed, it's going to grow. But we have to observe that truth. And we have to consciously shift that energy. And it almost seems like moving mountains at first, you know? It goes counter what we're normally doing. It feels like we're going against the grain, because I feel like the pattern is already there. The habitual pattern of the narrative of what I say is there, and it's ingrained. Okay? And it's like, I talk about the cornfields, because it's like we have a whole field of corn here, you know? And our brain fires off in the same pattern of thought, and it keeps firing off the same neuron. And so there's a trail in that cornfield that's flattened, and it's the path of least resistance. And it automatically fires that thought in the same form. And in order for us to take a different sort of path, we have to carve our way through the corn and make this path, flatten that corn. And it's very tiring. It feels almost unnatural, you know. But once we sort of cut through there, then we flatten that corn maze. The other corn sort of grows, and it becomes our new norm. But initially, it's difficult. Initially, it's like forging through. And we could feel very exhausted, and we could feel, but it's like the turn first must happen. And we must say, this path I'm going through, even if it feels normal or natural, or like, you know, even if it's painful, but it feels easy, because that is where it keeps sort of going. It doesn't mean it's right or true. And it doesn't mean that means that's where the happiness is to be found, because it's so normal, it's so natural. Obviously, like, I'm being authentic, or I'm letting it sort of flow. It's like, no, what you're doing here is what you're normally doing and believing, and it's leading to disappointment and rejection, and seeing what you've been already seeing. There's nothing new here. Okay? And I don't think you want to experience something so new, but I think what you want is peace and happiness. And you want to experience acceptance and love, like we all do. Being able to give and receive love and connection and acceptance from a healed, complete place, feeling whole and complete, seen, understood. Okay, so inside of me, I have to harness my energy, whole and complete. And there's something very strong here about, I feel it's, I don't know, like, in order for us to trust others, we have to sort of work on trusting ourselves. There's some people, security, safety, trust, feeling and not abandoned. So this could definitely be an abandonment wound, you know? I got left. I don't trust anyone, or I can't trust. And we feel we're really doing this because, of course, we want to protect ourselves. Nobody wants to experience the same thing again. And we could just say, see, when I trust, I experience this thing. Or it's like, no, that's actually the lie. When you do what you always do, you get what you've always gotten. And you're going through that corn maze field, experiencing the same disappointment over and over, because the way you're approaching it is from a fragmented place. It's not an authentic place. It's from the pain body. We didn't feel secure. We didn't feel safe. We're still clinging to certain things that are creating this challenge. And so this experience is bringing you to a wholeness state. And the universe is showing you through this painful experience, because this might be the final sort of overcoming that you're needing here, an intervention from the divine. And for a lot of you guys, with this intervention and purpose, it's like through this experience of pain and me harnessing my inner knowings. And now I'm able to sort of help others see because we can't really be examples for anyone here if we're sort of don't connect to the truth ourselves, because Healer of the Ages could definitely mean that there's a collective role you're going to be able to play in the collective here to allow others to sort of heal through this and find your purpose. Okay, so there's reason for everything. There's purpose sort of for everything, but we can't get there until we sort of iron out what is going on within here. And so I feel like there's an experience of the past, a disappointment, an abandonment, a letdown, a rejection, a wound that goes very deep here. And we're not seeing and understanding something that goes beyond this 3D, that's sitting with the divine. And it's equally as great a truth, if not greater here than that, in which we are perceiving to have experienced this sort of the secluded thing that is the all, what you experience is not the all. I do feel your spirit team is talking about feeling safe and secure in an environment here. It's not out there to create a threat to you, and if we see out there as threatening and we play like it's a threat here, I say play, whatever, engage, act as if, and then it's going to mirror that to us. It's going to keep being a threat. It's going to keep doing the thing. So if we're like actively playing a chess game, then, or checkers or whatever we're playing, we're the participant of the receiving end. We have to not play the game in order for us to not be involved in something like this. And I don't think you want to play the game. You don't want to be the recipient of another sort of tit for tat or them versus me, because there is no other. There is just you as a whole being connected to all that is. And until you connect to all that is, then there's sort of this duality. Okay, there's this them and me. And so I got to sort of fend for myself, and I got to be at the receiving end of whatever this person or things, this outer world dishes out to me. And so if they dish out disappointment, I'm the recipient of disappointment. It's like, no, that's the false belief. Okay, now people could do disappointing things, and they could do very wonderful things, because the flow of the 3D is always coming in and out of existence, ups and downs, peaks and valleys, in and out of existence. That's the 3D nature. So we can't peg ourselves to a person, place, or thing that's up or down and swing from whether this thing is up or down or coming or going. It's like, no. Inside there's a light of truth that doesn't waver, and it's solid and it's secure, and it gives you your security, your stability, your safety. It makes you feel whole. But when we're fragmented in there, it's like I can't tether to it. I can't connect to it. I can't see it, and we might be trying to see with our mind or see it in a way here that's not seeing it. And it's like, no, observe, still, quiet, it's there. It's just because you don't see or connect to it doesn't mean it's not there. But you must connect to it if you want to shift this energy. Otherwise, you'll perpetually sort of outplay this thing. You'll keep playing this thing over and over and over the same way it always has been. Okay, and I don't think you want to feel disappointed, empty-handed, rejected, disappointed, pained, and abandoned, and let down, And this goes even if there's some belief you have about yourself, that you're incomplete or that you're broken or that you're damaged goods now or something like this. That's untrue. And even if it feels very real and true, okay, because I feel you believe that, as long as you believe that, just know that you're going to create this suffering or the same thing you've been experiencing, but you're the generator, you're the magician of this thing. Okay? And so it's saying, no matter how strong you believe in this truth, that's not true. It's not what you see. It's not as it seems. Be curious to know what the truth is, because I think, like anyone and everyone, you want the truth. You don't want to live a lie and deception. So know that there's a truth. Know that you're being called to speak the truth, and know that you can't speak the truth or take action on the truth until you connect to it and see it for what it is. And it is open for you to see. Okay, it is open for you to see. The scroll is open for you to see. And you're not seeing it. And I don't think you're doing this, like I said, on purpose because you don't want to. Who would want to not see and be in suffering? Nobody. But you're not seeing it out of either a pattern, a way of being, or an understanding that has been long-standing that keeps creating and generating this sort of same thing. It's saying, no, time to think differently, time to connect to the greater truth, to be still enough to see it. I don't know if this is through meditation, through maybe asking yourself questions, just questioning what it is that you are experiencing, and when you do this, the truth will be revealed, no doubt about it. And your true tribe can't show up until you do. And your true happiness and your safety and your environment and what you're going to experience in the way you want, what you say you want, can't happen until you do this. It can't, because you're generating the same thing you've been experiencing. You're creating this thing, And so I feel like you're wanting to break free from pain. You're wanting to break free from whatever this is, insecurity, pessimism, depression, a self-speak, a self-perpetuating sort of disappointment here, So pile number 1, this is your reading. I love you very much. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. All right. Bye-bye. Hello, gorgeous angels. Pile number 2. You guys picked the card of balance with the 2 twins here. One's in red and one's in blue. So beautiful. And I heard yin yang when I picked up your card when we were doing the shuffles. I did ask pile 1 to come over here. Okay, I haven't done the reading yet, but generally I'll sort of tap into some sort of energy that might be tied when I'm laying the cards out. And so this did come through. So I don't know if it's 1 to here, okay, or here to 1, but use your intuition, okay? I'm going to flip through these cards and lay them out. And we're really asking your guides, your spirit team, whoever's sort of guiding you, okay, whether it be your high self, your ancestors, spirit team, or angels, for guidance here in your current situation. This could be a person, place, thing around you. It doesn't have to be your energy, okay? But I do ask that you sit through the card layout in order to develop your intuition. Ask Spirit what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this is your pile or not, okay? Or you could go straight away to the channel's message to see what it is that's pulling through here as guidance. So interesting, yeah, the red and the blue. So do we have fire and ice, which is temperance, okay? Something about it in temperance, yeah, definitely is balance. So Sagittarius coming through, but let's see. And Libra energy as well. Take responsibility for your life as a creative adventure. How can you live with more meaning, integrity, and truth? With the pink roses are all about self-love. 33 is a master number. Reproduction, creativity, humor, grace, consciousness, joy, and harmony. So we have some more Libra, Taurus, and Pisces energy coming through. Okay, and then we have 25-hour power. So 1 extra hour here. And fire energy from this 25-hour power drink. You have rigidity, 55 and 1. Another master number, 3355, could be something you're seeing, okay? But 55 is change is the only constant, divinely orchestrated change. And then 1. 1s are all about the new beginnings, potential opportunities. So it says rigidity, stiff upper lip, harshness, OCD, austerity, inflexibility, and intolerance. Type 1, the perfectionist instinctive center between control and letting go. Okay, and then we have weakness, 26 and 8. Avoidance, ego level. Powerlessness, helplessness, fragility, vulnerability, loss of control, situation of inferiority. Type 8, the challenger instinctive center between strength and weakness. Okay, interesting. So you have some Leo here, some Virgo, and some Gemini, and some Aquarius. Lots of signs pulling through. 47, go the distance. Number 11. The checkerboard is bringing me to pile 1. it definitely could be a tie, okay? If any of you guys were pulled there to one. So the checkerboard gives me like game playing, but this is strategizing. Okay, it could be duality, them versus me type thing, but it's the chariot energy I get, which is the integration of shadow in a balanced way to move beyond obstacles and challenge, to go the distance, to have success, to go the distance. All right, and then we have gravity, groundedness, 39. Or the number 12. So 12 is 3. Threes were coming through your reading. Threes are all about growth, relationships, initial success, creativity, joy, communication, self-expression, gravity, and groundedness. Look at all the animals here. It's giving me Empress energy for sure. I mean, 3 is Empress with all the animals, because this is like abundance here. There's chains to these butterflies. There's 2 butterflies here. There's 2 people here. Butterflies talk about transformation, liberation, freedom. Why they chained to her. Okay, so then we have anticipation. Another 3. Wow. Wow. Lots of 3s in your reading. Okay, so anticipation. Look at all these empty chairs. Empty chair can talk about someone leaving our life, okay, or us sort of moving on from a situation. Crows talk about communication, transformation, release. Multiple crows could be communication, people we know. Okay, Scorpio energy pulling through, and more Taurus Libra energy. So we have the sacral chakra with preservation, number 10. 10s are all about endings. Oh my gosh. Is it not pile 3 preservation? I think that's the card for pile number 3. If you're called to 3, there could be a tie, to 2 for sure. Okay, just use your own intuition, but this definitely, like, what are the chances preservation would come through here? So the sacral chakra is definitely where we could have blocks when it comes to intimacy or creativity or generating that fire. Okay, that's creative sort of fire to create something. Preservation. I'm seeing the card in the Kim Kranz resin, I think it's called, or something sort of preserved in resin in a state as it happened. Preservation. Okay. Sacral. And then we have service, 38. Another 11. So we have 11. A very sacred number. 11 is divine inspiration, synchronicity, and the encouragement to keep going all the distance. Service. Her eyes are closed here. They're closed here as well. So when eyes are closed, it's like being guided by some internal sort of drive. Service. Okay. And then we have the dreamer, beginning, believing, and protected. This is the Fool card in the traditional tarot. So the child running after a butterfly here. Okay, being guided. And we have a dog. Dogs talk about friendships and loyalty. This was wanting to come in the reverse, which I'm going to sort of leave it like this so I can channel what I'm sort of picking up here. Okay, so the Fool's Aquarius energy. It's new beginnings. Protected. Oopsie. Okay. We have hostilities, 26, or the number 8. And then we have broken heart. So 3 swords, okay, with the number 9 here. 9 is all about fruition, completion, fulfillment, wisdom, closure, and service to humanity. 8, 9. So we have succession. And then we have Kuthumi with Cloak of Wisdom. You already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. Wow. Okay, let's pull some tarot so that I can put the pieces together here. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2, Spirit. Let me ask their guides, angel team, whoever's helping them through this point in time, their situation, circumstance, guidance, advice, how to navigate their current situation. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. What is the current situation, circumstance, and guidance for pile 2 at this time, Spirit? Here, and one more. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. All right. Bottom of the deck, the Page of Pentacles. Under that, we have Strength, Leo energy. Okie dokie. We have Death showing up, Scorpio energy. That's still the butterfly energy we were seeing in the Crow energy. Okay, 2 Swords. It is in reverse. Is it in reverse? No, I'm so sorry. It's in the upright. 2 Swords. I see a bird here. It's looking a lot like this crow, but could be a dove. Okay. 2 Swords and High Priestess, Pisces energy, Scorpio energy, and then the Moon in the reverse, Cancer energy. Interesting. So I'm going to put these cards like this. What's under Strength? We have 10 Swords, and it is in the reverse. Okay, another 10. Like I said, 10s are all about endings, okay? We have 10 here, we have a new beginning here, we have completion here with the 9s, and death is certainly ending. Okay, so let me sit here with this energy and see what I can connect to here. Okay, pile number 2, interesting energy here, okay? And like I always say, it could be your energy, people around you, person, place, or thing. Everything carries sort of an energy vibration. It's up to you to apply it to who and how it fits your situation, circumstance. I'm going to read it as though it's your energy dealing with a situation, okay? That comes through very strong. So, signs that I'm tapped into here: Leo, Scorpio, Cancer, Pisces, Sagittarius, and I think I said Libra. Yes. A bit of Aquarius. Yeah, Aquarius for sure. Sorry, not a bit. Aquarius. And some Virgo energy as well. Okay. So, did I say Scorpio? I'm sorry. Scorpio as well. Okay, so how to begin this one. I feel as though you're in an energy right now that things aren't exactly what they seem, okay, but it's you are on the right path. Your angels, your guides is showing you you're right at the very end of this sort of experience that you're having. Okay, now of course there is no end game when it comes to journeying through spirituality. Okay, but I feel like there is an experience specifically that you're here about. And I think it's been very challenging already. I do feel you're dealing with a very difficult situation, and it could involve a person for some of you guys, okay? And I feel like the hump of the challenge is sort of behind you. And I'm not saying it didn't hurt you, and I'm not saying you're empty-handed or disappointed, but what I really feel energetically here is you coming into a great truth of self, okay? There's a balancing of your energy that feels very beautiful, and it's like to get to this energy is definitely a lot of work, okay? Like work meaning I had to really sort of dive in deep and sit with my own energy and connect to my own sort of self-love, empowerment, and see beyond anything that it could have tried to sort of get you off balance here, okay? Now, if you are off balance because you're here, and if you're going tickety-boo, I don't think you'd maybe be here, you might already be feeling sort of this balance or this new energy encompassing you, okay? And this is because of all the work that you're sort of doing. And I feel like there is a ripple effect you're having in your situation, circumstance. This I don't think you see or understand just yet. Okay. I feel like you were sort of limited when it came to your moves in a certain situation, circumstance. So either we were dealing with unruly people or situations that we just couldn't manage in any other way other than just managing our own sort of energy here. And I feel like maybe you got pushed to a point, or you are at a point where it's like, I have no more, no more. And Spirit is saying through your angel team here, for that challenge, there is no more. But there is this final push of energy that's coming from the truest place of balance and healed self here, I feel. It is very grounded and very much tied to what is true here. And so I feel there's a breaking free of a limiting experience, okay, that may have kept you feeling blocked, like you couldn't begin or create. And I do feel like maybe you feel like you were having to be of service, or that the universe was using you to be of service. And it might have led to empty-handedness, disappointments, brokenheartedness, And it's like, and maybe you feel I have nothing, or what did this amount to, But we're not seeing just yet what it's amounting to, because I don't think you've been privy to seeing it. You're about to see, because I feel like you've transformed some situation. And I do feel like whatever situation that you have been in, I feel like I said, you weren't privy to seeing or understanding in the 3D world something outside of maybe an intuitive inner knowing. And so this message is sort of a confirmation that what you know inside is true. It says you already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know. And maybe that was the bigger struggle, was what is the truth? So I can act in line with it, but I don't know what it is, and feeling really limited or stuck. Like, until I see the truth or know the truth, I can't move forward. I can't begin. I can't create. Will I ever know this? Will it ever sort of resolve? Will it ever, like, how will this impact the unfolding? And so we might have had to go through a process, a whole process, because I feel like with the Fool here, this is the beginning of the major arcana. And I feel like we had to go through the whole major arcana, right through death, release, everything, in order for us to get to a point where we can then start a new beginning. Okay, but I don't feel like it's a new beginning in a cycle you've already experienced. I feel like there's a dream here that you maybe gave up on, you know? And it could be very much, in order for me to get through this whole thing, it's like I had to get to a certain energy state, and it's impacted how I see my dream or the faith I have in spirit or myself in creating something that I had to sort of come to terms with. It won't happen, you know? And it's sad because it's like when we give up on a dream or on some sort of a desire that we want, it leaves us feeling sort of stung, you know, by the universe. But what your spirit team is saying is you're not seeing yet. What is being revealed to you is that the opportunity is still here. This experience was requiring you to step into your courage to face certain things maybe you have not been able to face in the past, and to put certain things that might have needed transforming, releasing aside, and working your way through this, because there's an ending here that you're processing. But I don't feel like this ending is like a complete sort of closing the door, you know, to a world here that you're entering a whole new sort of phase. I feel like this is an ending to the challenge, an ending to what didn't work, an ending to your limitation in a situation, because like I said, either we didn't know what was within our power, or we felt, again, like at the mercy of other people sort of being hostile here. It's hostilities, you know? So, and we could have gone through our own hostilities. We could have gone through, you know, like blaming others for our pain or suffering or what we're experiencing. But I feel like there is working through the final stretch here. Okay. And I feel at one point in time, and if this is how you're feeling, then know that this is sort of what you're working through. There's this feeling almost like I cannot, you know, like I cannot get to my dream or my vision or my desire here. And it might feel almost like a very fixed situation, or things are very black and white or very fixed in some sort of way here. And maybe we had to work through our own flexibility, or how to manage with fixed situations, or overcome certain rigid ways of perceiving ourselves or situations here. And so there is this with Go to the Distance and this 25-hour energy drink. It's like the final stretch of the energy required in order to make this dream that I feel you probably already sort of, I don't know if you threw in the towel or you said, I got to get with reality here because it's not happening, you know? And so I feel like you become at peace with what sort of is around you, and the dream or the vision, it's like put on the shelf. And some of you guys might have, with this anticipation, know, like, okay, I know that this dream or this vision is meant to be, but like the timing isn't now, or what it's requiring me to do is sort of very fixed here, and I must resolve or balance whatever this thing is. So there's a message. Your dream is preserved. There is this not seeing, okay, it unfold, and we could lose all sorts of hope. We could get hostile. We could get disappointed. We can even give up on the universe or ourselves in this energy, because it's like, I don't see it. Then it just doesn't exist, or I've been forgotten about, or this thing just won't happen. Okay, but I don't think that you're there yet, although you could be sort of having to work through those feelings. And so this message comes through as confirmation that you already know the answer you seek. Trust what you know, because I do feel at one point in time you knew there was an unfolding here of some great truth, of something aligned that's very protected, and it is preserved, it is protected, and it is being protected. And there's like this message, like, don't stop believing. Okay, but it's like there's a need to get more aligned with truth and balance within your own world. And I think you've been working through this because in order for sort of these gifts or this creation, it's going to require your energy to sort of be in more grounded, solid, balanced, truthful, integral sort of standing here. And so I feel like this is like like right before something is really sort of the real deal, you know? It's right before it sort of rolls out here. And you're sort of in a, I don't know, testing out what is it called? When we have like a concert or something and we go the night before to do like a rehearsal. There seems to be a rehearsal here. And I think you were actively involved in the rehearsal. And it's almost like the concert or the real deal is going to unfold. And I think you know it is, but it's like it doesn't feel real, or it feels almost like it hasn't yet unfolded yet. And so anything can sort of happen, you know? It's like I could get sick, or what if nobody shows up, or is it even a real thing here? And so there's yes, it's real. Yes, you're creating the energy. And I feel like in this reading, even it feels a little bit disjointed here, you know, because I feel like there is a lot of what we still don't know and see. And that could be creating the big question mark here, because I feel there's been a lot shifted and changed and released. And that it's almost like, I don't know what's up in the air and sort of what's not, but what I do know is my own energy here. And at any point, we could sort of even question our own sort of energy here if we're pulled down by other people's sort of, you know, more lower vibration, their anger or their hostilities or their disappointments or their losses. Is like how, if it were very empathic here, we could be pulled into this sort of energy. So it's saying maintain your balance, maintain your truth, and maintain your own energy that allows you to value what it is that is in line with your truth. You don't trade it in, you know, and then feel like you're at the mercy of situation or circumstance or other people, because I feel like there's a real need to stay grounded in the present moment, staying with this shift and this change. And I do feel, because it's feeling the yin yang, when I picked this card, we're seeing the black and the white here. Okay, we're seeing two butterflies. So there could be something about masculine, feminine energy that pulls through this thing. Okay, but if it's not that sort of masculine, feminine energy from within, it could be, you know, a partnership here. Okay, but it could also be this, because the fire and the ice, it was giving me temperance. And so there is this like it being able to manage the energies in a way that are sort of polar opposite energies. It was through alchemy, through balance, where we're not sort of in one energy over the other, you know, and temperance knows how to sort of bend water. There's something about you already having some skill with this service, learning the skill. And I don't know if the skill was being able to stay grounded or stay calm, or just see how to, I don't know, see your values or love self, or maintain some sort of energy here. It's asking you to maintain this energy, whatever you have been sort of doing. And I don't know that it's been all that pleasant. And so it's like, well, I don't want to just, you know, will I forever sort of be a hostage here, or like feeling exhausted here? Because if I maintain it, it's like, oh, what's going to come of this thing? And so your spirit team's saying, maintain it because you're almost there. Maintain it because you're at the final stretch. Maintain it because you already know what's going to unfold here. It is going to unfold. Okay, you're like right there. So don't sort of throw in the towel or give up now or swing into the ice or into the fire. It's like maintain the balance, maintain your value. You already see, and you can, you know, like sort of anticipate the worst if you sort of get stuck in that mind story. But I feel like this is what you have been overcoming. This is what you have been sort of working through, is maybe, giving into these sort of lower vibrations of understanding. Because I feel like is something that you're going to create that isn't all gone, and you might feel like, oh, it's all gone, or it's not there, it's never going to sort of happen. It's saying, no, it's preserved, it's protected, it's on ice. It's needing you to maintain this balance now. It's maybe asking you to keep multiple balls in the air here too, and it could be there's someone sort of at the mercy here of this as well, because I've seen 2 chains, 2 butterflies to this grounded energy. And it could be, as long as you're grounded, balanced, then your situation, whomever you're dealing with, your circumstance, will then maintain this like balance as well, because I feel there's this, this yin yang, like it plays together. And there's a playing together. And so if one energy sort of off, it throws the whole sort of thing off. And so if we get very fixed, it's kind of like it goes hand in hand. So there is a need to sort of be flexible, but I feel like it's understanding where the flexibility lies, because I do feel like you really felt almost helpless in your situation, or removed from any sort of control. And so we could get very set, it's like, well, now that I feel I can have some control over myself, we could really cling to that and sort of throw out the lesson, because the lesson here was to be flexible. The lesson here was to see, like how it is that we might need to utilize both energies, the masculine and the feminine, in order to overcome or remain grounded or move beyond something, because there seems to be a journey here that you're experiencing here. And it's asking you to stand in truth and experience whatever you have been experiencing. Okay, but I don't think it's been very pleasant, like I said. So the opportunity is here. There's a new beginning here. Okay, some of you guys might even sort of, in this next little bit, to sort of hear more about this opportunity, or you could be seeing the glimpse of joy sort of coming through as a result of you facing what you were needing to face. Okay, but I think the message here is like, not all is lost, not all is gone, including the blessing or the belief or the dream. That isn't gone. Okay, and we could be mourning or processing something here, saying, oh, it's gone. It's saying, no, there's still a final stretch you still don't see. So what I want to do is, we're going to see what you don't see. Okay, because the guidance here was to maintain a level of what you've already sort of been doing. And maybe you're like, I can't go any further, I feel drained. And it's saying, no, you're going to get this boost from Spirit. Obviously, Spirit's acting through you in order to get through. Okay, so maintain your groundedness and your balance. Your dream is preserved. You already know. So for all of you guys, it is whatever it is that stands true for you, which is very unique to you, okay? But you already know, what this sort of truth is here when you get to that. And like I said, you might have been doubting because it seems very long, or it seems like it's not happening. The anticipation's like it still hasn't happened. So is this shifting? Is this gone forever? Is this dream something I have to sort of let go? And your spirit team saying no, but you do got to sort of make it to the end here. Okay, so let's see. Spirit, clear and concise message regarding pile number 2 and this, what they don't see yet. Can we get some more insight into what it is that I'm channeling here? I want to see what this hostilities in this broken heart is actually. Let's see. What is this hostilities in this broken heart? What is this about here? So we have the Lovers in the reverse. So Lovers could definitely talk about a relationship here. Okay, but it's our destined path here. And we can align with the right people, the right jobs, the right living situation, the right destiny. I feel like something was blocked, you know, or something might have fell apart here. And we could have been very disappointed, you know, hostile, or dealing with, like I said, a hostile situation here where it's like it feels like I know something here and we're experiencing some sort of loss here, some sort of block, but it is Lovers, which just talk about destiny, okay, and conscious choice. So there's always a choice to be balanced, and we're never sort of helpless or hopeless. There's always a choice to be had. And I think maybe this is what we had to learn, is like I had to choose. When this was sort of blocked, they still had to choose. Okay, Nine of Wands in reverse. I had to surrender. And maybe it's like you feel like giving up here. Okay, and so there's a difference between surrender and giving up. And it could mean you might think, well, I've given up on my dream, whatever this lover's path is, you know. And it's like, no, this is on ice, preservation. It is held here until we get to the final stretch of understanding here. It is requiring you to get through, like I said, in a more balanced, grounded, truthful way. Okay, but maybe we're just too tired here. Too tired to go the distance, too tired. Yeah, Page of Pentacles, we think the dream or the opportunity is sort of no longer available here. And so maybe you're like accepting this, you know, this dream, this path, this block is here. So now we're like, Spirit, what now, you know? And Spirit saying, don't worry, go the distance. You're going to get this extra sort of a boost when you ground, balance, and stay sort of with the transformation. Wherever you felt sort of limited and incapacitated, I guess, to do anything, you felt very stuck or fixed, that this dream is being aligned here. Okay, you already know. So let's see, what is this then? What can pile two sort of expect here? Because your own challenge, I see here, is something not working out right now as it stands, you know, and then you sort of buying it as the be-all end-all, but that's the end game. It's like, no, it's not. It could be a temporary block. This could be something here that's still being ironed out. There could be many reasons we don't know here, but all we can see and know is our own energy, okay? Yeah, Ace of Cups, self-love, emotional new beginning, connecting to the truth of our own emotions, our own empowerment of feelings, standing in our own sort of truth here with the Ace of Cups. Okay, this is all about self-love and seeing ourselves as whole and complete from a position here that's able to have a new beginning, that's unencumbered by any outside force, you know. Okay, so new beginning here, Ace of Cups, yeah, coming out of that 4-cup energy. And look at the Ace of Cups here in the background. So whatever you're experiencing, I think, like I said, you come out of the hump of it because maybe you felt very rejected, disappointed, let down, you know, discouraged, whatever you're feeling, bored of it, no way out, very fixed. And it's like your own cup was there to be connected to. And so Spirit is saying, like, through your spirit team, check your energy here because the cup is still there. Sit with your cup, get grounded with your cup, connect to your own cup. But let whatever is transpiring or unfolding unfold. All is not lost. But don't cling to anything here, and there is no need for you to do anything. Okay, nothing for you to do. You have Magician in reverse. Nothing for you to do. And you're feeling helpless or hopeless, saying, oh, the situation is just done. You know? It's like you already know. You've been connected to a greater, deeper truth. You've already seen. This isn't robbed from you, okay? There's something very deep here that's the Lovers, the Magician, and this cloak of wisdom. But it doesn't require a 3D doing. Okay, and you might think, what do I need to do? Or something like this. It's like, just be grounded. Just stand in balance and truth here. 6 of Pentacles in the reverse. Nothing to do. There's no more energy you need to input into this thing. I don't know that you are or that you will be. but it's something that you feel empty-handed. It didn't output. It didn't do something here. It didn't manifest. And all you're sort of standing with is your own energy here, I feel, and that's okay. Stand in your energy. Okay, like I said, Pink Rose was giving me self-love in the card layout. This is all about self-love. It's like self-love, truth, my own value, and rising above an experience here that hasn't manifested, isn't producing. I'm not going to invest. It's been out of balance for sure. And it's like, no, maintain your balance and your truth here. Get out of this sort of state. Okay, whatever this disappointing sort of state has been. Because I feel you've been guided for some time to connect to your own cup. Okay, King of Pentacles, Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy, more Virgo up here with the Magician, and then we have the King of Cups in the reverse. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. So this is the masculine energy. The King of Cups in the reverse. And the King of Pentacles in the upright. So King of Pentacles is the grounded king. Right on top of this grounded card. This is the 3D reality of something we can build in a practical way. Okay, but there seems to be a block here with this King of Cups in the reverse. And here this cup is in the upright. So, like I said, I don't know if you're dealing with a situation that was needing to divinely sort of sort itself out here in the 3D. That has really nothing to do with your investment in it or your ability to change it. There's like, there's like an unfolding of something here that is only sort of coming through time. But let's dig into this. Why is this Magician then in the reverse? What is unfolding here for pile number 2 in regards to what they don't see? The Knight of Wands in the reverse. And the bottom of the deck is the 3 of Pentacles, and under that is the Temperance. And the Temperance is in the reverse. 6 of Swords in the reverse. Judgment in the reverse. Okay. Sagittarius energy. Let's sit with this energy and I'll channel what's coming through. Although I do feel we might need to get more here. So what this is talking about, you're heading towards creating something, okay? For sure. I feel like you already sort of know. And for all of you guys, this is different because you have the vision and the understanding. I think you always had. But this, whatever you experience, is maybe in the opposite of it. And it's showing you something here that is very true and real. But many truths can sort of happen at once. And it could really tie to this thing. And you think, it won't happen. It won't build. This other side of the equation, whatever this is, person, place, or thing, isn't aligned. It's not going to work. I don't know if you think it's over or it's I don't know what you're thinking about this thing, okay? But it could just be a loss of hope because it hasn't been manifested. It's showing me something and I'm running with what I'm seeing, which is great because there is a need to get practical and grounded here for sure. And this could have been what you were needing to do. Connect to self. Grounded, balanced, practical. Whatever seemed imbalanced or wasn't creating or growing. There does seem to be an external force here. And I feel it's a person because I'm seeing kings here. Okay, and that could be an internal part of your world for sure. That was needing to sort through here, manifest through here. And I feel it's been, I don't know, MIA, not shown up, not manifested, not solid, not reliable, not grounded. Okay, blocked here for sure. Something seems very challenged and imbalanced. And I feel like it hasn't yet been, it's not the end. Like it hasn't been announced. It hasn't been seen. The judgments still, or the awakening, or the new sort of door to this whole lesson or this whole thing. And like I said, you're still at the final stretch. The new cannot happen. The dream or the vision or the destined thing here until this judgment is sort of in the upright. And so whatever is imbalanced is coming into balance, but it has nothing to do with your energy. All you're being asked to do is maintain your own balance, maintain your own truth, and maintain your own integrity here. Connect to your own self-love, your own cup. Remove yourself from any experience that feels disappointing. Easier said than done, you know? And you could really feel like, since I'm removing myself and I'm closing this door, it's closed forever, or it will not manifest, or it's done for good. And it's saying, no, okay, whatever this build is, it requires you and a second sort of entity, person, place, thing to create the child, or to create the business enterprise, or to create the family, or to come together to create. That's temperance. Two things coming together to create. But if one thing is not in balance, it can't be created. If one ingredient isn't there, it doesn't matter how perfect the other ingredient is, it can't create the cake. So you could definitely be the flour, and this egg could be having to turn into an egg here. And it's like, I don't know, the egg is not hatching, you know? It's just like a chicken here. The chicken hasn't laid the egg, and there's nothing you can do. And it's not a weakness. And we can't get fixed on this chicken laying an egg, you know? And this is very frustrating, to sort of let the chicken lay its egg. It's sort of like at the mercy of divine timing in some way, you know, when you require the egg to create the cake, and you're this flour, and you are this flour, and you're saying, well, I am the flour, the egg will never come. I can never create this cake. And I think this is what you're believing. It's like, I guess I'm just a flour, and that's all it is, you know? It's like, no, you already know. You're not just the flour. You are requiring an egg. An egg is coming. Maybe not from this chicken, maybe from this chicken, I don't know, you know, but this chicken is, I don't know, off cuckooing somewhere else, or doing something. Okay, now I do want to dig into this King of Cups and this Lovers in reverse, because, you know, Six of Wands in the reverse, we feel failed, you know, failed situation, didn't have success here, didn't work out. Let's see, what's this King of Cups in the reverse? Why is there a King of Cups here in the reverse regarding pile number 2 and the energy that they're experiencing here? What is this King of Cups in the reverse, or who, or what's this about? 10 of Pentacles in the reverse. 9 of Cups in the reverse. 8 of Pentacles. I feel like there's a need for something to get grounded. Okay, a 10th Pentacle is like the lottery win in the tarot. It's building an empire here in the 3D in a practical way, something you rely on, depend upon. It takes the 3 Pentacle to build the 10 Pentacle. Okay, because we build this 10 Pentacle with our resources, with our community, with our families, we can create this. I feel like there's an abandonment here of a dream, of a 10 Pentacle here, because the chicken, the other side of this thing, either didn't show up or couldn't build, and there's a massive disappointment here, okay? And it's saying, continue doing what you can do in your world. This is a consistent energy and an effort. The energy and the effort, yes, creates a 10 Pentacle. But like I said, if you're just the flower creating, and there's no egg, there's no other side of this, we can't create the 10 Pentacle no matter how efficient we are, no matter how proficient we are, no matter how talented we are, because 8 is the card of talent. Same with 3. It's like I have the skill and the talent. But when you have skill and talent, dedication and commitment, it's like, what is the other side reflecting to us in order to build the family, the legacy, the thing, the forever job or forever relationship or whatever this is? It doesn't matter how committed and dedicated and consistent we are here. If the other side sort of falls short, there seems to be a King of Pentacle, King of Cup energy here. And it's like, in order to manifest something, someone we can rely on, to build with, to work with consistently in a balanced way, There seems to be a need to work through this King of Cups. Cups is all about emotions. Okay, it's their creative energy, it's their intuition, it's love. And so I feel like there's something here in regards to creation that is blocked in a person or the other side of the equation that hasn't yet been able to be the thing to work with, okay, which has absolutely zero to do with you. And Spirit is talking about this whole thing being something that, the star, you're losing hope on. Maybe your vision, you had a vision of what you could build together. And it's like, I've lost hope. I don't see how this could be a thing here, So what now? Like, you're losing hope here. What now? Like, what are you supposed to know then about this? Just move on, get grounded, allow spirits to sort of work through the other side of this thing. But what is it? Hermit in reverse. Come out of your isolation. You've already seen or understood what you were sort of needing to within self. Yeah, close the chapter. You're at the final stretch here, okay? 2 Pentacle and then the 10 of Wands in reverse. Look at the parasite on his back. And Temperance in the reverse again. And 7 Swords. Oh my goodness. And the Page of Cups. Okay, let me sit here with this energy. I think Spirit is showing you're at the final stretch of closing a chapter here, okay? And for all of you guys, like I keep saying, it is really specific to your own energy. If this message is for you, only if you've already gone through this Hermit's journey, okay? And I'm not talking about we haven't seen the truth, we haven't sort of felt a state of peace and balance. I feel like you are in a place of peace and balance that needs to be sustained. And you're coming out, okay? Coming out of maybe a point of isolation or the work that you've been doing. Okay, now if you haven't done that, I don't think it's your pile, because I feel like we're closing the chapter here to a very unpleasant experience that seems very draining. It seems very heavy. It seems very out of balance. It seems like we might have been dealing with people who are very hostile, who might have projected one thing or said another or done one thing or done another. Okay, and I feel like there was a need to have compassion. And this energy here is somebody potentially who owes you an apology, maybe somebody who hasn't been upfront and honest with their feels and their emotions. It could have been somebody who was parasitic on your energy, draining you. Maybe somebody here who was needing to step up. It might have been sort of keeping you sort of out of balance here. Okay, this is a balance card. And so in order to get to balance is like, there needs to be sort of a centered, sort of grounded, peaceful energy. It cannot swing. It cannot sort of fluctuate. I feel like there was a fluctuation that was really sort of riding on another's energy here. And it's someone I can't necessarily trust, or someone who isn't being upfront or honest, or someone who can't connect to their emotions, or someone here who did something here, and I cannot be hostile, or I cannot be charged here. I have to sort of surrender to what is. And I feel like you're surrendering to what is. And I do feel like whatever this energy is, it definitely feels like someone who owes you an apology, or who has a block in regards to maybe expressing a truth, an honesty, a healed understanding of something here that's been sort of up in the air, that's been kind of not grounded in a way that can create. And it's really sort of infusing your energy of doubt and seeing disappointment and maybe losing hope, like with the star in reverse. And Spirit is saying, don't lose hope. Just close out this chapter. You already know whatever you were needing to sort of see and understand within self. That was the main sort of thing. Everything else is in Spirit's hands, you know, whether this person is choosing to be honest or comes forward with an apology or ends up being balanced or heals the situation. Okay, let it sort of unfold here. I feel like why it's strong is because we have the Lovers, which feels like something very destined or someone or a path here. And it's like, I just give up, you know? And sometimes we have to sort of allow things to just unfold and no, it's not a giving up, it's a surrender, because surrender means I don't need to carry anyone else's burden. I don't need to be sort of, I don't know, bounced around here. I don't need to swing on anyone else's lies or anyone else's, I don't know, like maybe childhood wounding or their strategy, their unhealed version, their imbalances, their inability to show up. There's an inability to show up as this, you know, egg. And it has absolutely nothing to do with you. And I feel you're closing this. And Spirit's saying you're almost there. Support your own sort of cup here with groundedness and balance, self-love, integrity, truth. Okay? And you don't need to sort of isolate or hide away. Be seen in this truth. Okay? And this chapter will close. It is closing. And you've learned with this cloak of wisdom what you were needing to know about yourself. There's nothing to seek. You already know and trust what it is that you've learned and seen. And know that your destiny is for you. Nobody can take it away. And anything that is imbalanced is not for you, because you have learned how to find balance. You have learned how to master sort of the ice and the fire in order to create. And this is where you're sort of closing out here in order for you to gain whatever dream, vision you want. Okay, it's requiring this energy. And I don't know, like I said, if it's this person or this thing, but I feel like we got a lot of that 10 swords in the reverse. We got 10 of pentacles here. Okay, we have death. We have 10 wands. 10s are all about endings. Okay, but a lot of these 10s are in the reverse. And so I feel like either we're just right at the final stretch, okay, or we're perceiving something as being completely over and losing all hope. And it's saying, it's not over. Trust in the divine. Surrender what you can. Focus on what you can. Okay, pile number 2. This is your reading. I hope this helped you. I love you very much, and I will see you at the next one. All right, bye-bye. Hello, beautiful. Pile number 3. You guys picked the card of preservation here. I'm getting a lot of Scorpio vibes from this skull. So we're going to be diving into the energy and asking your spirit team, spirit guides, whoever's sort of helping you lead through your journey, whether it be your high self, ancestors, angel team, okay, for some information regarding your current situation, circumstance, and some guidance here for you. Okay, and I'm going to lay these cards out. And so the perfect way to sort of tap into your own intuition is to sit through this card layout, ask Spirit what you'll see, feel, or hear to determine whether this pile is for you. If you want to go straight away to your channeled message, you can do so. Or if you're in tune with your intuition, okay, but I do include this part so that you can develop your intuition and so that you can really connect to the energy here. So this card does talk about we preserve ourselves so we don't get hurt, you know, at the expense of receiving what could be good for us. So it's being open to the blessings that the universe is bringing. It could be in the way of another person. It could be in the way of an experience that will allow us to experience joy, love. Okay, but it's difficult to put our guard down when we feel we've experienced something where we need to maybe be defensive or even see what's good for us. It's hard to accept love when we have not felt loved, you know? So we could sabotage good things. That's what this card talks about, okay? But preservation can talk about having to sort of keep something as it is. So I'm getting a 4 pentacle sort of energy, especially the way the hands are too, you know? So there could be a block to letting something flow or go. We could have a block where we're keeping people out or trying to protect our heart from getting hurt. So we're too held back, or we're hanging on to something. Okay. I see a child sort of here trying to sort of be seen or understood. So it could be the inner child who wants to feel love, accepted, wants to be seen or heard. And we could be maybe silencing this inner child, suppressing something that is innately ours, like love. Okay. So let's take a look at what your spirit team is wanting you to know here about your situation. Okay, like I said, I felt heavy Scorpio energy plus 4 Pentacle energy. So 18, this is moon energy. Okay, moon is subconscious. It is fears, but it's things maybe not being totally seen as they are, as clear as they are. We see 2 people here. One's looking in the past, one's looking in the future. Okay, so it says, your purpose is personal expansion. How can you be more intentional with your choices and live with more purpose? Okay, we have the magician on stage performing. Magician creates here in the 3D based on utilizing all of his tools at his disposal to create and manifest in the 3D a reality. Now he's on stage. He's performing. So let's see. Manipulation, 78, 6 and 3. It says unfaithfulness, dishonesty, trickery, revenge, deception, and completion. No, not completion. I'm sorry. Competition. Okay, so type 6, the loyalist thinking center between mistrust and trust with disintegration. Manipulation. Now, the magician is also known as trickster energy, could be manipulative, depending on how we utilize, right? It's sort of like the magician will show one thing, but it's really doing something else. Could be manipulating people to believe something, or manipulating ourselves to believe one thing. We could be manipulating, or we could be feeling manipulated. Let's see. We have protection. 89, 8 and 2. It says generosity, helper, love, listener, defender, fighting against injustice. Type 8, the challenger, instinctive center between strength and weakness. And we have some Pluto energy here. More Scorpio, Leo, Pisces, is some Capricorn, Gemini, Libra, and Taurus. We have Virgo and Gemini. Lots of signs coming through. Cancer. They probably have all the signs here, okay? So peace, 23. Okay. And then we have bravery with oceans and 30. It's another 3 here. She's walking on the earth. Now, oceans definitely talk about water, which are emotions. Emotions are love. Here, there seems to be something about maybe pushing out love. So there's some sort of courage required with the 8 here. Or to face something. All the 3s also are giving me love energy, because that's Venus energy from the Empress I'm feeling here. Okay, and then we have joy and music, 28, or the number 10. There's the moon here again. So music coming through. Music sometimes comes through as a self-expression, okay, or an ability to express something through a form of music or creative endeavor. Joy. And we have distraction with 15, devil energy. It's kind of this magician. Look over here while I sleight of hand over there, you know? Look over here and I distract and steal your food. So I'm trying to distract you. Are you the magician? Well, there's protection here, whether you are being manipulated or someone's trying to do this. Okay, emotions. Yeah, that was coming through with this ocean and this energy. 13 is also more Scorpio energy. So we have the sacral chakra coming through. So that's this block to love, okay, because the heart cannot be blocked, but we can have blocks in the lower 3 chakras that prevent us from feeling safe to love, give and receive, like be authentically vulnerable, because love requires vulnerability here, or to express ourselves, to show our emotion, to speak our truth. Fascinating. And then we have safety. Yeah, to feel safe enough. So we have protection, safety, and another 8. Okay, 8s are about movement, change, attainment. 8 is the strength card. It's the courage to face or fear. And she's hanging like the hangman, which is Pisces energy. Need to see something differently, become more enlightened or still, so we can gain a different perspective or see the higher picture. She's suspended here. 8 of fire. Speed, activity, and multitasking. So this is communication. This is a breakthrough, movement, travel. It could be a flurry of energy with the 8 wands. Okay, and then we have deceit. All over your reading here is this manipulative energy, okay? But again, it doesn't have to be manipulative. Deceit means a sabotage in one way. It's like I need to pull something off here. Maybe be very strategic in how I do so I'm not being authentic or honest or something like this. I'm not being upfront. Wow, 25. Another 7. Okay, appreciation. 15, devil energy. So you got 2 15s. 1515 could be an angel number you're seeing. Capricorn energy coming through very strong. But appreciation is exactly as we see it, being valued, seen, and appreciated for who we are and what we're about. Okay. And then we have El Moria. Says, awakening presence. The universe is with you. Wear a cloak of protection and love. Protection. Now we see the blue really shining through here. This is authentic expression. The white is the pure self, which is again authentic expression of the truth. Awakening presence. Okay. Let's pull the tarot and get the full picture here. Spirit, clear and concise message for pile 3 regarding what they're experiencing. Situation, circumstance in which pile 3 is needing guidance, advice, what they're experiencing. 2 of wands in the reverse. And we have the hermit in the reverse, Virgo energy. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 3 will understand. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3 and the energy around them. Wow. Okay, 8 of cups in the bottom of the deck. The king of cups under that, which is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We see the queen and the king of cups. Could be divine counterparts here. Masculine, feminine. Okay, cups is this emotional, watery energy. We were tapped into high priestess. And more water here. Okay, but high priestess, Pisces energy is blocked here in the reverse. And then we have the 9 pentacle. Okie dokie. So 9 pentacle is the self card. This could be the appreciation card. Okay, it's giving me similar sort of vibes here. Standing in our garden. Confident in our own energy. Okay, so 8 of cups. The king of cups in the reverse and the empress under that. Wow, divine feminine energy. And the hermit. Okay, and the reverse. Can you guys see? Not really when it's all the way over there. Let me put it over here. And yeah, I think that's okay. So I can channel this energy. I can't really see this. You guys can skip ahead. Okay. Pile number 3. Interesting energy. I don't know where to put these cards. Let's leave them over here for now, I guess. No, I'm sorry. Let's put them here. See what's going on here. So there's a lot of sort of energy flowing through here, okay? And I do feel 2 energies here. And like I always say, like, I don't know which one's your energy, people you're dealing with, situation, circumstance, everything sort of has an energy vibration. So up to you to apply it to whom and how it applies to your situation. There seems to be a not good energy, okay? Now, there's no such thing as bad and good, but when I say not good, it's like not in truth. It's not in truth, and I do feel that's the person or situation you're dealing with, okay? Now, flip it if this is your energy but you wouldn't know that you're not in truth here, because this energy that's not in truth is sort of looking after protecting themselves, at all costs here. And you might know if you're doing this sort of a thing, but you might not know the ramifications of your sort of action and the impact it's having on people around you. Now, the other energy, which I feel is yours, but again, you apply it. It's beautiful. Queen of Cups, Empress energy. There's love all over this reading, okay? Emotional expression of love that's able to give and receive and flow in love. Love doesn't have a boundary. Love knows of no block. It doesn't have transactional sort of rules and regulations, because love accepts everything sort of as it is. Now, love doesn't mean I put up with anything that it doesn't feel loving. And this does not feel loving. Okay, there seems to be a lot of things not what it seems. Deceit, manipulation, the magician's sort of sleight of hand up here. Preservation is a card of that, in which we're self-sabotaging or protecting ourselves at all costs and not allowing the truth to sort of permeate or be experienced here out of a lot of fear. Okay, even this distraction, sleight of hand. Look over here while something else is sort of happening. And when this energy is sort of happening, it feels very intentional. And so we could say, well, if it's intentional, then it's someone being manipulative on purpose, right? And it's like, yes and no. Because when we're unconscious, when we're hurt so bad and we act in a certain way, that's reactionary to those hurts. We're unconscious. We're not really choosing. So we might think we're in the driver's seat. We might think we're choosing, but the pain is choosing, and it's creating all sorts of ramifications and an experience that comes as a result of us acting from the pain body. So somebody here, like I said, I don't know, this experience, this person is acting in a way here that seems very purposeful, and they might be able to articulate exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it. They might know that it creates and is causing harm or challenge or a sleight of hand that puts you out, however it does so. Okay, it doesn't have to be so malicious. It could be, I don't know, vampirically sucking your energy or taking from you in some way, or, while you're sort of looking the other way. And so people who are very kind, honest, truthful, loving, empathic, it's like we need to learn to be discerning, to be able to see that we can love and be in peace and truth without sort of experiencing the opposite end of being tricked, deceived, disappointed. So I feel like there's a lesson here on both sides, okay? And if you resonate as the Queen of Cups, giving, loving, caring, because we see the Queen and the Queen and the King of Cups seems to be a divine counterpart here, learning lessons of love, how to trust and give and receive love. One seems very much open, giving, loving, and there's a blindness here. Okay? And no one would choose to be blind. The lesson of we can't see what we don't know and don't see for this Queen of Cups is, one, to understand her own value. The appreciation here must come from within. Her confidence to stand on her own is not going to be handed to her by what someone says, does, or how they value her, whether they show up, whether they don't steal from her, whether they say anything to her. Her value and her love is generated from within her, and she could generate this energy of love, acceptance, confidence, and value and appreciation from within herself. That is true. So she creates her own peace, and she might be in a dissatisfying situation here with somebody who seems blocked. And this happens to be the masculine here, okay? But I'm not talking gender so much as I'm talking the energy. And this King of Cups is blocked here in being able to give and receive love from a hurt place here. And it generates this deceiving, hurtful energy of manipulation. But the manipulation is more of a tactic to preserve myself so I don't get hurt. And so I will do whatever it takes because the hurts are very real. And I don't know the consequences that I'm having on other people so much, but it doesn't really come into a concern or a matter. And it's not because I'm cold or a narcissist or manipulative or I want to hurt people. Nobody would want to be in this energy. Nobody would choose to be in this energy. However, this energy is one in which we encompass when we have suffered an injustice ourselves in a way here that we haven't been able to work through. And so I only know as good as I know. And what I know is how to hurt people, but it's not the hurting of people that I'm trying to outwardly do. It's I'm protecting myself, and it happens to hurt people. Even people who are well-meaning, because I feel there's a well-meaning person here. Okay, this card talks about love coming in, good things, blessings coming in, like love. And you're too blind to see and accept. And no matter how much we love someone, we can't make them receive the love. We can't force the love that someone does not know how to receive, not because they don't want it. It's because they do not know how to receive it. And they don't know because this is something that must be worked through and seen through and understood. Now, it's our innate nature to give and receive love and let it flow. But when we have experiences that get in the way and blocks and certain things, that develops and it creates a block to love. It creates a block to our emotions. It creates some reality that isn't necessarily in line with truth. There seems to be a breakthrough happening here in this experience you're having with this person, okay? Whether you're the queen or the king, I don't know. And I think the queen would probably be here, okay? Loving, giving, wanting to share. And I feel like she feels here like maybe unseen or underappreciated. Okay, and this lesson, if you will, of sorts, isn't one from the universe saying, I'm going to dish out tests just for testing. The universe says anything that has been blocked will at one point in time rear its ugly head, because energy always finds a way of balancing out. So we can call karma. We can call it, growth. But we have an experience, and life is just that. It's experiences upon experiences upon experiences. And so the truth will eventually rear its head. Breakthroughs eventually happen. We see beyond the curtain, okay? See a red curtain here, a red curtain here. I'm getting the veil of deception is opening up so we could see where we've been sort of deceived or we have been deceiving. We've been either manipulated or we are manipulating. And we could have been really focused on the other thing, It's like I'm really focused on just protecting myself that I don't even realize I'm manipulating. Or I'm really focused on giving my love that I'm not even knowing I'm being manipulated. The curtain itself is the manipulation. And so there's a manipulator that isn't creating manipulation to create harm, but it's creating harm. And there's an energy here of somebody sort of being in the dark, which is this Queen of Cups, about the truth, about her love and her investment and her true self-worth and appreciation. And so I feel like with the devil being very present here with this 15, it feels like a codependent connection and energy here that's sort of tied until we see and understand our truth. Our own authentic truth here must be seen. And I think both people here want to feel safe. All people want to feel safe and secure. And so there might be a period of suspension, okay, with the hangman energy that I'm feeling here. This is a pause in order to gain perspective, or the hermit being pulled away so that we can gain perspective. But the perspective isn't about how this person is or what this person did or what this person isn't doing or needs to do or have they done. This perspective is one of a greater truth of self. What is my truth? What role do I have? Who am I in this dynamic? What is it that I've been trying to do or have been doing, and why have I been doing what I have been doing? What is my motivator? Have I been trying to protect myself? Have I been trying to give love so that I could feel valued and seen and appreciated, because I have not been able to appreciate and value my own self and stand in my own confidence, that I had to, at all costs, engage in a dynamic that was manipulative, threatening, maybe even unsafe, feel unsafe. And all I wanted was peace. All I wanted was to be understood. All I wanted was to speak my truth. All I wanted was to give love. And the other energy is like, well, I can't give love and I can't see beyond the pain and the suffering that I've experienced, not because I don't want to. Of course I want to. I cannot, because it hasn't been a thing that I have experienced, graduated past, or moved the obstacle, because I couldn't see the truth. And all I knew was to the capacity in which I knew how to act from pain, how to preserve the little bits I did have or knew of myself from the pain body. And it acted as a deceit, it acted as a distraction, it acted as manipulation, it acted as a taker, it acted as though sleight of hand, it acted as trickery, it acted all sorts of ways here. And so awakening the presence, it means the truth is being shown to both of these people about themselves. And the truth here is that of giving and receiving love. And so I feel like there's a walking away. And when we walk away from something, there's a walking towards. And we walk towards the truth. That means we leave whatever is emotionally dissatisfying. Sometimes this represents somebody sort of watering the other cups, at the expense of their own cups. And it could give us a sense of sort of purpose here, to water cups but feel drained, And so there's a walking away. And I do feel like this is walking towards a greater truth of happiness here that does allow there to be love that flows. And it's like, I know my value. I see my value. And my value isn't, overflowing cups of someone who cannot receive love, who is defensive, or who is guarded, or who is manipulative, or who just cannot accept it for whatever reason. There's a breakthrough that happens here energetically as a result of walking away from disappointing situations that don't appear as they are, where I felt I had no choice, or I couldn't see my way through, or I didn't know what to do. It's like dealing with somebody who just cannot move beyond the level or the cap in which they're at. We cannot love more than how we don't love ourselves. And so if I'm not feeling a deep sense of love for myself, I cannot receive love and I cannot give love. Even though deep inside, everyone can give and receive love, but only when we remove obstacle. And so I feel there's a walking away, a detachment, a pause, a reflecting on something deeper within self, a greater truth here, in order to see that there is a choice. And the choice is to see one's own value. The choice is to see beyond what we couldn't see, which is our own confidence, both sides. Because I feel like this 9 Pentacle talks about us being in a confident position in the 3D world to make ourselves available. So we have to be healed enough to stand there in a 9 pentacle. I'm in a position to give and receive and stand here confidently and make myself available. But unless I'm in this 9 pentacle, then I'm taken advantage of and I'm some sort of victim here, or I'm manipulating energy here because I can't generate my own, that I feel I need to take from other people because I have a belief that I lack something or I'm incapable of something at the expense of someone else, you know. And so this is a very profound lesson of self-love. And there has to be sort of the inversion on the other side in order to learn this lesson. We can't have like two takers or else the lesson isn't learned. And we can't have two overgivers or else the lesson sort of isn't learned. There seems to be a codependency, and this is generated from trauma or pain. You know, now I don't necessarily feel that there's an overgiver so much as I see there's this needing to see the why we're giving, needing to see and understand how to give to self in both circumstance and situation. How to really ask oneself, am I open to giving and receiving all that is abundant here? Or am I in any situation where I feel I must remain, but it's dissatisfying? And if I feel this way, why do I feel I need to stay there and limit myself or be at the mercy of something that isn't fully sort of flowing here? Because I feel like everyone would want to experience peace, appreciation, truth, joy, and express themselves, okay, their emotions, their truth, to feel safe, because I feel there's a need to really feel safe with our emotions, to communicate our emotions and feel safe on the other side. The other side will not make me feel sort of threatened. The other side will not make me feel unsafe. They'll make me feel heard, will make me feel seen. But it requires bravery and courage to speak one's truth. And so I feel this is one of being able to listen beyond the fear, understanding when we are sort of defending something, why, and really connecting to what love is when it comes to giving and receiving love that doesn't stem from the pain body or an ulterior motive that isn't generated from true, authentic love. So we must be present to hear it. We must be present to see it. We must be sort of silent to be able to witness and observe what the truth is that wants to come through. And so the universe is with you. It's telling you you're protected here in love, no matter how much someone might be trying to manipulate or create something, okay? Because illusions are not real. And the truth is that love is something that stands the test of time, that cannot disappear or be taken away. Okay, there could be the illusion of it being taken away, the illusion of lack, the illusion that it's withheld from me, the illusion that I'm unloved or abandoned or without. Those are all illusions. And we can either believe that illusion strongly and live like that's true, but the truth still remains behind this curtain. Love is there, has always been there. There is no removing it. It always has been and always will be. Love is the truth. And it exists here, and it's wanting to be connected to, but we cannot connect to it when we're sort of too distracted in the illusion and the sleight of hand and the what's happening in the 3D that's sort of making it seem as though there's some lack here, lack of love, lack of appreciation, lack of something. It's not true. And so I feel like there's a massive transformation when it comes to how we engage in love and see love. There's a shift. There seems to be a challenge for sure. There's a lot of illusion. There's a lot of fear, you know, on both sides. I could say, well, I'm not fearing. I'm giving openly of myself. But the fear here is in generating one's own love. The fear here would be in turning the love inwards to support oneself, to feel confident in oneself, standing on their own without having to seek a validation here or this safety, security of love external. That's fear-based. Okay, and we might not see this. We may not understand this. I might have all good intention here, but under it is a fear driving, a fear of being alone, a fear of not being seen, a fear of being without love, and that's the lie. There is no being without love. You are love. Love runs through you. You generate the love. If you are the generator of love, how can you be without? You generate the love. You are now with love. There is no love missing. There is no withholding of love. Okay, and then for this King of Cups, I feel like there's this misunderstanding about receiving, like actually receiving something here, because the King of Cups might even sense like this love is maybe fear-based love. This love is something here that I cannot engage with because it could be taken away at any point. I'll be vulnerable or I'll be without, which is the illusion. Nobody can take away anything. We create our own energy. Nobody can go within us and sort of manipulate our internals energies. Only we can do that. We can either believe the lie and shift our own world. We could keep our energy strong. We could keep our beliefs strong. We could do whatever within our own energy. And so there seems to be a hurt energy here that's creating all sorts of hurts out in the world here as a result of preserving oneself. And so this whole hermit's journey is internal revelations about giving and receiving love. And there seems to be either a mother wound, an abandonment wound, a wound when it comes to absolutely connecting to this divine empress energy. And we all carry this energy. Nurturing ourselves enough to give love because we want to generate it from within, not out of fear, not from beliefs that we cannot, not from withholding, and not from seeking it external, but generating this love and being open to receiving this love. That's all it is flowing in and out. Okay, Five of Cups. So there seems to be a situation where we feel very disappointed. We're looking at what didn't work. We might regret what we've done, what we said, what has happened. We're disappointed. There's a walking away. Like I said, there's a maybe being pulled completely away from a situation here in which we're reflecting, contemplating, and we might be realizing, whoa, I was manipulated, or there was some sort of gain here, or some sort of deceit or something like this. And we can ride this sort of thought and feel worse about what's happened. It's like, yes, something has happened, but are we seeing it clearly for what it is here? I don't think so. Okay, so I want to get a little more practical here, because if there is some sort of an 8 cups, 5 cups, and a hermit sort of energy in the reverse, which would mean maybe we don't fully understand ourselves, we still haven't connected to the truth within ourselves, and so we're needing to sort of sit there, removed from this experience for as long as it takes. Spirit saying it takes as long as it takes for us to see the truth, to have movement or a breakthrough in our understanding. And we might need to silence the distraction. And I feel like there could be a distraction with 2 people here. Okay, in order to find the inner peace. So, Spirit, what does pile 3 then need to know about this energy and the situation? Can we get some practical information regarding this? 8 cups, 5 cups. Well, that's pile 3 needs to know about their situation. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. What is it pile 3 needs to know? So the Judgment in the reverse, all is not what it seems or appears, Queen of Swords. I need to get clear. Okay, Queen of Swords, through adversity, she sees the truth. She understands through a wisdom, the clarity. I see 2 butterflies. Okay, 2 people sort of transforming as a result of truth and experience, clarity. It's like the truth needs to come to the surface for us to see everything clearly as it is, not through the way we think. Like I said, if we think we're being manipulated, if we think we're being something, it becomes our reality, but it's not necessarily the truth of the situation here. Okay, 2 Pentacles. imbalance, a need to prioritize or choose or get pointed in some way here, but it's back and forth here. 10 swords, something's ended. Painful ending, but in the reverse. Has it ended? Is this a period of pause? Are we having to close out certain understandings? And to come to terms with something, you know? Well, the King of Cups in reverse again for a second time. So we have Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, and Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces here. Why is 2 Pentacles here? Why is the 2 Pentacles here? 8 Pentacles. That's the commitment, dedication, the focused energy, the day in, day out efforts we make to create. Bottom of the deck is the 9 Swords, and then we have the Hermit under that. Virgo energy, Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, and the Ace of Wands in the reverse. And under the Hermit, we have High Priestess, Pisces energy. Okay, let's see what's coming through. Wow, Hermit and High Priestess. That's quite intense here. Just give me a second. It's under that. 9 of Cups in the reverse, Ace of Cups in the reverse, Knight of Swords in the reverse, 2 of Cups under that, the Star in the reverse. Aquarius. Sorry, I have to see the train here of progression. Okay, beautiful angel. I do feel I'm reading for a Queen of Cups, okay? But like I said, it could be whatever, you know, whoever you're dealing with in this situation, apply it accordingly. Things are unfolding, and I feel like for all this whole, whoever side you fall on, judgment is the awakening of the truth here, awakening presence, okay? It's kind of like every action that we've done has its consequences. It comes to light. Truth always has a way to come to light. And so until everything sort of comes to light and is seen for what it is, we could get very distracted in the illusions and the untruths. And we could get very defensive. We could start to do things, you know, based on the understandings we have. And we're only as good as sort of what we understand. And so I feel like the full truth still hasn't been seen or understood or revealed. And so we're taking action just like the people we deal with. The other person is taking action the best they know with what they know. Somebody here they're dealing with, like I said, could flip it. There's the King of Cups in the reverse, an inability to connect and receive love. Very detached from emotions here. It could be someone very cold, you know, maybe very matter of fact, maybe someone who's very logically sort of trying to do the right thing even, but the right thing for themselves, which happens to not necessarily be the right thing in a situation, or right is in the more balanced, aligned thing. In order to figure out what's the right thing for them, balanced and aligned, they have to sort of go through an experience. And I don't know if you're on the receiving end of this thing, and it sucks when we're on the receiving end of this, you know, but karmically, it's like we've signed agreements or we understand a role here. And knowing this sort of takes the pressure off, knowing that whatever's happening here isn't a result of me being undervalued or not appreciated. It's as a result of somebody's experience that doesn't allow them. They don't know how to be in an energy here, maybe of balance, or to be clear, or to prioritize. And this takes effort, energy, consistently, day in, day out. Because the consistent effort in the 3D that we put towards this becomes the reality in which we experience. And so it's unstable until it's not. It is the lie until the truth comes out. It is the illusion until I see the truth. And so the only way to get there is to go through this sort of experience, which seems very out of whack here, you know, and it could create a lot of anxiety and stress. That this is the part that we do have control over. We don't need to sit and suffer. We don't need to sit in the mind story and build it up and feel more threatened or more anxious or feed the story that I'm not good enough, or that I'm not appreciated, or I'm not seen. Like, all of that is the illusion, because it has nothing to do with appreciation and value. It has nothing to do with I'm unlovable, or I can't do this, or any of that. Okay, so I feel like we're going through a very strong experience that could be very painful in regards to understanding a truth. And we must close doors to what's untrue. Things cannot be the same in order for them to shift and be different going forward. As long as we hang on to the same thing will keep unfolding. And so we could be experiencing similar situations over and over, or back and forth, which creates this sort of tension, if you will, that doesn't need to necessarily be tension, but it does need to be something that we go through in order to close out and experience, in order for there to be a valid way forward at the end of this experience that is solid, that we could confidently move towards. Okay, but we can't see it and we can't engage with it. We can't move towards it until we experience what we do. And so I feel like what there is a block here that's created in the mind at this time, that's being called to sort of be put to bed or see beyond, so that we can gain the information beyond what we're seeing and experiencing. I'm rejected. I got tricked. I got lied to. Whatever the lie is here, okay? It's an illusion. Yes, it's an experience. No, it's not gaslighting. It's an experience of something created from the trauma that isn't the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth sits here behind the veil. The ultimate truth is that our value cannot be dictated by somebody else, no matter how many ways we want to paint it. But I feel let down. I feel not prioritized. I feel this. I feel that. It's like, yes, your feelings are valid, but they're swinging from a belief. And this belief is that this person or this experience is where I'm going to pull my appreciation. It's where I'm going to gain love from. It's saying, no, within yourself, hiding behind the veil is the truth. And the truth will show you about self-love, self-acceptance. And only until we connect to self-love, self-acceptance can we then experience two cups, a true union. Okay? And I feel like we might feel very discouraged, disappointed. And it's like, well, the healing hasn't necessarily happened yet because we haven't seen the truth of ourselves. And so we're discouraged. We're emotionally depleted. We're experiencing a lot of anxiety, putting a lot of weight on what someone can say or do that'll make me sort of then be happy. Then I can be happy, then I can accept myself. Then I will feel love. Then I will feel a certain way. And it's like, it's not about how you'll feel based on someone else. It's like, how can you feel based on your own energy? Can you stand in love? Or is it something that must be seeked out there? And this will resolve this anxiety. This will resolve this sort of disconnect we have. Okay, because I feel we can't see the wand in front of us, and we won't be able to see this. And I feel everyone here wants the wand in front of them, because what the wand represents is the desire, is the choice to be able to break free, really. I think you want to break free. You want to have movement. You want things to flow. It's like things cannot flow until I see the wand in front of me. I can't see the wand in front of me until I understand something about the truth that's hidden right now. And it's hidden because I'm too stuck in my own mind, feeding whatever story I believe, going back and forth, or feeling very turbulent about this understanding. And it makes me feel unhappy. And so I'll stay here feeling unhappy, thinking the same thing over and over and over and over. And Spirit saying, no, this is why there needs to be a pause and a reflection of a greater truth that stands stronger than what you've experienced here, the rejection or the disappointment or the something. And it's becoming very apparent and clear to you. And the only way for it to be is for you to experience whatever this disappointment is, or this mirror of someone here who is incapable of giving and receiving love because they're blocked emotions here. But the truth is the truth, and it will be seen and understood at some point in time. But you're not the destined creator of the timing. Okay, but all you can do is get in the way of your own sort of opportunity here. And I think you want an opportunity to create something in the 3D that's real, solid, and grounded and consistent. And it's around love and appreciation. And it's like, but you cannot generate that in which you're wanting another to sort of create for you. But what you can do is create your own love. You can create your own acceptance. You can create your own appreciation. You could create your own reality, your own truth in line with the divine. That is more in line with truth. It's not in your own mind. It's not your own perceived reality. Because if we believe our perceived reality and then reality starts to do something else, we're thrown in a tizzy, we're up or down. It's like, whoa, yes, it's real. It feels like this person or this thing is in line. And then the minute the rug gets pulled, it's like, whoa, I got deceived. It's like, it's not true. And it's like, no, you just believed something. You thought it was true. You experienced it for all of a ham sandwich until the reality is that real life is up and down. It's disappointing and it's happiness. It's threatening and it's safe. And the real world is just doing its turbulent thing. It's always in motion. But you could get centered. You can get grounded. You can generate your own love. You can generate your own appreciation. You could generate your own truth and clarity that isn't dependent on someone else's comings and goings, or someone else's truth, or someone else's wounds, or someone else's ability to give and receive love, or someone else's ability to show up or be consistent or ground themselves here. And so I feel like there's a need to put to bed certain thoughts, that are creating this anxiety, that are getting in the way of this, seeing this wand. Because the wand is what opens up. If we don't feel we have a door, or we feel really trapped, that's what this 9 of wands is, 9 swords, trapped in our own prison. There's no way out. I have no choice. I'm sort of stuck here. And we can really feel this to be true, and it's saying that the wand was always there, but we couldn't see it. It's up to us. And right now we're sort of wedged between these two wands. One of the wand of the I do what I always do, I think what I always think. That I was tricked, disappointed, not appreciated, deceived, lied to, not protected. When it's like, we could believe that for sure. That's a perception. That is a reality. It creates this 9 cups in reverse feeling and this pain and this, or we could go beyond the veil, sit with ourselves and say, I am valued and appreciated here. And maybe the reason this person was incapable of this was because of their own preservation of self. And that could just be it. We just didn't see that. We just didn't understand this yet, It was about me. It was about my own self-worth. It was all about my own thing. And it takes a brave person to step through and say, the energy sits with me. It doesn't sit with anyone else. No one else is going to do anything that's going to sort of dictate, because I have self-mastery over my own energy. And what I understand here through my energy is solely sitting with me. Because if I give this away, I give away my power to people who are wounded or blocked or incapable, or, could be deceptive people that aren't trying to be deceptive, but as a way of sort of guarding themselves. Now, I do feel like for some of you guys, I'm reading for this person who's preserving themselves, and what your spirit team is saying is that there is peace to be had here, but we have to learn to open up to the giving and receiving of love that your inner child wants to experience. This is safe. This is safe, but I feel like maybe it's not safe until this person sort of learns to love in a way here that is aligned with the highest truth of themselves. But when they do, it does feel like it's taken away, because I feel like this person, once they choose themselves, this person does not need to be in an energy that feels like it's manipulating them or making them feel unsafe or making them feel like it's trying to do something, to take something from them, to distract them. Because this energy wants to feel protected. This energy wants to feel the presence of truth, but they'll have to see beyond their wounds. And so for both sides here, regardless what you came in, there's a communication coming, okay? And I do feel, like I said, there has to be an experience in order to get to the other side, whether it's pleasant, whether it solves this problem right away. I don't think so, but it's through the engagement that I get to the other side, through communication, through the periods of pause and reflection of what has happened. I can take away, I can review, I can get honest, and then I can confront what I need to. And all of this is leading to peace. All of this is leading to healthy love. All of this is leading through seeing the illusion that my own value is tied to another person who might not be healed here, okay? And this is really saying, like, if we want to feel love and see love, it must come from love. It can't come from the wound. It can't come from the shadow. Love, like I say, is a giving that isn't sort of dependent on anything other than a desire to give love. Not so that it could be loved, because it already is love. It can't be lacking what it is already. If you give love, you're not lacking love. You are love. Okay, pile number 3. This is your reading. I don't know, I'm tempted to see the bottom of the deck. Yeah, self-love. Okay, this is all about being able to stand in our own emotions to give. And love is being vulnerable and exposed, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be threatened in a way here that can control and pull on me. Threats can be happening, and my energy stays steady and strong, because when I know I generate this, then I'm the creator. And nobody can go turn off my faucet of love. Nobody. You are the faucet of love. You're outputting. Okay? So stand in truth, stand in love, but you must fill your own cup. No over pouring into someone else who can't receive it. It's not going where it needs to go. Where it needs to go is to yourself. Okay? It needs to go to yourself. You need to see that. So, pile 3, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. All right. Bye-bye.